Okay, where is my volume?
Hey there, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Okay.
It's a great day in the neighborhood.
Amen.
Why is my picture not pulling up?
You have an echo. No, maybe that's
Oh,
me.
you know what that is? Probably the other one.
It's two screens of you.
Oh, let me close this one.
Hi, commissioners. Hi, community members. Apologies.
Oh, no.
Apologies. My allergies are getting to me, and I had like a little coughing spell.
I'm
Thank
right
you.
there with you, Chair.
It's horrible.
My allergies are terrible.
It's horrible. Like I feel horrible. You look like you're in a. Is you in the office, Commissioner Donohue?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, everyone, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I may be off camera a little bit because I'm suffering over here. While I share my screen. Thank you. Commissioner Davis, did you go ahead and start the meeting? Thank you for opening up the Zoom, or whoever opened up the Zoom. Thank you for going ahead and doing that. Okay. All right. So while we were doing roll call, here is the agenda. I think we have like one person I may have forgotten. But let me start with 8A01, Commissioner Donohue.
I'm here.
8A02, Commissioner Foreman. Is Commissioner Foreman here? 8A03, Commissioner Davis.
Present.
8A04, Commissioner Moore. 8A05, Commissioner White, present. 8A06 and 8A07, both of the commissioners are having family urgencies right now, and they won't be here. So I don't know if we have a quorum yet, but I'm going to keep the agenda up so people can start. And while we're waiting for a few more commissioners to start, let's just go ahead and start with commissioner announcements. I'll start because I'm talking. I want to remind the community to please join our Google listserv. It's instructions here. I'll put that in the chat. There's been some activity on it for the last month, so I'm glad to see folks are starting to sign up. You can get daily digest, or you can get every alert that goes out. Let's start with Commissioner Donohue for announcements while we get the other commissioners on. Actually, hold on. It's AAO2 is here, Commissioner Foreman.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you didn't say it. All right. Well, we have a quorum. We have 4 commissioners. All right. Sorry. Who's this other 8A05? Do we know who that is? Commissioner Davis?
No, don't know.
This 8A address, can you tell us who you are? Because that's not myself or Commissioner Davis.
It's saying me?
No, it's not either one of us, because both of us are from the 8A
okay.
account. Sorry, everyone. We have a Zoom account for 8A, and Commissioner Davis and I both have the login, but it's another account in here, and I don't know who that is. So, all right, they're gone out. All right.
Okay, take them out. I'm going to say take them out. Then they have to come
That's
back
what
in
I was
proper
doing.
way.
Sorry, I wasn't getting it. All right, community, sorry about that. Okay, so I want to ask for someone to move a motion to go ahead and approve tonight's agenda, and then we'll get started with you, Commissioner Donohue, for updates.
Okay, Commissioner Davis, I move a motion to approve 8A's agenda for
I think we
tonight.
have. I think I have one addition, which was the resolution for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Can we update that agenda to approve tonight's agenda with one addition for ANC to pass a teacher's resolution, a teacher's appreciation resolution? Commissioner Davis.
So we're asking to add that, correct? Because according to the guidelines, we have to move a motion. We have to vote on it to ask to add it. So that has to be a vote.
Right.
Okay.
It would be.
So I would like to do those two separately.
I don't think it's 2 votes. I think it's just one with accepting the agenda with the addition, right?
You
But
can
if
do it
we-
with you can do it
Well,
with an
but what
addition.
if we do not want to approve that? Then I don't want to say no
Then it
to the
fails.
agenda, but adding something
Can
that
we-
was not properly noticed.
Can we do this? Can we add it to the agenda? And then when we hear the resolution, you can vote on if you want to support it or not?
It was not properly noticed to add to it, so no, we cannot.
Yes, we can.
So we have to do a vote to add it to the agenda, according to the open ANC.
We can do a vote to add it, but we can do we can do it all in one. So you can do a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the addition of adding a teacher's appreciation resolution to the agenda. Okay, could you redo the motion, Commissioner Davis?
I move a motion to approve tonight's agenda with adding the resolution for the teachers' appreciation to the agenda.
Perfect. That was perfect. Can I get someone a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Donohue seconds. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Foreman? Aye. Okay. Agenda.
No.
Agenda passes
No.
unanimously. I'm gonna remove somebody's firefly from a panelist because I don't know what that is. But Commissioner,
It popped up, and I think I hit it because I thought that was the recording thing. Yes, remove it. I think I hit that. I don't know what it is though.
okay, I'm gonna remove it, and I'm gonna turn it over to
Okay.
you, Commissioner Donohue.
Good morning. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. Commissioner Tom Donohue, cover the Fair Lawn area. Not too many things going on. Of course, we have our monthly neighborhood meeting, which is the fourth Tuesday of every month. We did relaunch a new website for ANC 8A01, which is ANC8A01.com. It's got a calendar and a blog and various other things on there for the community to see. We did have a complaint about a couple of different things. One being garbage cans being stolen from the alley behind Minnesota Avenue. We have three different neighbors who are without a garbage can. So the process in order to get the garbage can replaced is that you do have to file a police report, and then they will replenish the garbage can. Since we've been sort of closing up all the vacant properties, we now have encountered an issue with squatters going into 1828 Q Street, and it has begun to cause some problems. So I've been working with Commander Hickman and trying to address squatters. I'm also in constant contact with the owner. We're hoping that they'll be able to take some steps to maintain security of the building. Otherwise, I'm quite concerned that we're going to lose security of the building if we haven't already altogether. The last thing I'll say is we've done some work with monitoring the bus stops on Minnesota Avenue. Spent 2 days, one morning out at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, talking to residents about the conditions of the bus stop on Minnesota and 18th and 19th. I hosted a meeting with MPD, Metro Transit, and Commander Fitzgerald in regards to it, as well as a separate meeting with WMATA, bringing attention. The one challenge that I would note to the community is that, unfortunately, it's difficult to get individuals to move from the bus stops because they could easily say they're waiting for a bus to come through. And because of their Fourth Amendment right to freedom to travel, interfering with their ability to do that would be against their constitutional rights. And so I'm stressing to MPD and transit police the fact that these individuals are actually smoking and doing illegal drugs inside the bus hut. And so they're ramping up some more they're going to come through much more often, including in the mornings when families are taking their kids to school. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Donohue. Commissioner Foreman.
Okay. Well, I got a few things. I've been working on the trash pickups in the neighborhood. Excuse me, I don't know if that's mine or not. The trash pickups in the neighborhood's been horrendous. From the guys who do the normal pickups at people's houses to the other drivers who pick up the trash cans around at the bus stops. They've been missing them. I make some phone calls. They'll straighten it out for a day or two, and then they're back to the same thing. So they run the route to make it look good, I guess, on the GPS, but they don't stop and pick up full trash cans. Then I got some other apartment buildings around here with the same problem of folks dumping trash. Only other thing I've suggested to them is they get better cameras so you can get the offenders' tag numbers like that. We know that one building, well, two buildings is pretty much a blue pickup truck, but nobody has been able to pick up the tag number. So let me see what else I have here. Oh, well, we got trying to work with Anacostia High School, the library specialist down there, Ms. Hodges. She has several different events. She on the 7th, she has a Mother Day program there from 2 to 2:15. And she would like, folks to donate or to come in and celebrate with them. Also, they have a science fair, which I may be a judge. Biology guy, right? So on May the 13th, and that's it. Well, there are two sessions. They're daytime session during the school time. Then they have an evening session from 4:30 to 6:30. And that's when they really want people to come, the community to come. So we're going to put out more of these posters and stuff like that so we can get a lot of people to come. You know, STEM is a pretty important thing now. And what else I got? Or just the general stuff. Trying to get these squatters out of the buildings. That's an ongoing thing. I know it's hard for people to trying to find a spot to stay, but it gets dangerous. Not just for them, but for the community.
Thank you, Commissioner Foreman.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Foreman. Commissioner Davis, and then I want to, for the record, Commissioner Moore has joined, and then we'll go to Commissioner Moore after Commissioner Davis. Community, please put your comments in the chat. If you want to give updates or ask questions, please go ahead and start doing that now because we have a pretty packed agenda and want to keep it moving.
I wanted to share that I'm working with Travis and Sean from Department of Behavioral Health, and we are working to try to get some of the priority unhoused individuals who have medical or physical handicap disabilities, trying to get them housing. We have a gentleman who sits at the park at Minnesota and Pennsylvania Avenue who is a double amputee, and I had to call the paramedics today for him because he looked like he was going in and out of consciousness, and he is one of the priority ones that I'm requesting help for. So I have established a relationship with them and have been actually getting some good response from them and active engagement with them. So that's a positive note because we have constantly been complaining about the lack of effort that we have been getting from them. But I would just like to say thank you to those two individuals as well as Quentin. He has been part of the team working with us, trying to do what we can to get them housed because, like they said, we are having a large problem with homelessness and squatting, but I'm taking it one step further, trying to actively get the agencies out here to assist them with housing and substance abuse treatment. Also, I've sent an email out to the captain for the Anacostia district who handles that park that's at Minnesota Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue, that park, because we do have an encampment that's forming down there, and it's leading to a lot of rodent infestation down there. So they are aware of that and they're trying to deal with that. So I'm actively dealing with that. And as always, the liquor store parking lot, we just had a federal partners jumped out a couple of days ago down there because there's a lot of drug activity that's picking back up down there. And The federal partners were out there again today, but they weren't at that liquor store parking lot. They were on some of the back streets. So we're seeing a lot of engagements with them, but it's really still not making a dent in the crime that we're experiencing in our community. So, but there are efforts underway trying to deal with this, and this is not an issue that's going to be resolved overnight. So we are actively engaged in trying to work on those issues.
Commissioner Davis, did you reach out to Commissioner John Adam? I think is Adams from 7B in regards to the encampment. That's his SMD, and he might want to be involved in helping you with that encampment problem. So he's the commission right next to me. Just for FYI. John Adams.
We can talk about that later on. You can give me that information. I appreciate that, but it's still also federal property. So, but if you have another contact, I'll be glad to take that information. Thank you.
And I think we should also be mindful of federal property, especially we don't know where federal people are taking our unhoused neighbors to. So I think that might, if you said, Commissioner Davis, think about a conversation.
I didn't hear you say that again.
I said, I'm glad you mentioned this federal property. So if any, let's talk about that. I think we have Councilmember Frumin on tonight, who is over DHS. That's a perfect thing to talk to Councilmember Frumin about. Commissioner Moore, sorry, a perfect conversation.
Good day, everyone. Good day. I'm Commissioner Moore, 8804. And I wanted to share excitingly about the bright lights at the corner of 16th and W. The corner store DC Market has these enormous bright lights that go up into Gateway Terrace. We have been asking for additional lighting down in that area. And some people had concerns as he started selling liquor at that store that some type of activity would begin to happen. However, he kept his word, and there is really bright lights. We used to have a police officer that would sit down there to create, lighting so we could see up in those alleys and the cuts and stuff. But the new lighting down there does have a very prevalent showmanship and a sight of safety as you go down to the liquor store, and there is no crowding or any sort. So I'm happy to report back on that. We do have DC Water on, who will be presenting, and then I would like all those who live on and in the area of 16th and W, 8804 and around to follow up so that we can have a smaller meeting and sign up, because we have a concern about the pipes and the lead, etc., which will be presented. Also, we have some people from Friends of Anacostia on. I would like to definitely highlight the work that they're doing, Project Purpose, Father Factor. They are working down at the new rec center, which I believe is in Commissioner White's SMD, but they are doing work in the community. They're in the community daily, up and down 16th W Green Street. So if you see them in the chat, connect with them, come out, volunteer. It's a lot of, they say a lot of hands make light work. So when we can, be out in the community and just, get to know each other, they offer those opportunities. So you can introduce yourselves if you're here. That would be great so that the community can identify you all when they see cookouts and different things happening on the block. We also have a request on June 4th for Ketchum Elementary is looking for volunteers to host the cookout. So if you have some extra time and you want to get in the community, Ketchum is looking for volunteers to host the cookout on June 4th. And lastly, I would just like to say, if you are in my SMD, please reach out, or I will share with you all my WhatsApp so that I can keep you all up to date on what's happening. We have a lot going on. For those who are currently in the WhatsApp, know that I tend to just drop all information that I can within that space to keep you all updated. And that will be all from me today.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Moore. I'll be very quick. I don't see very many questions from the community. So if you do have any announcements for the community, please put those in the chat. If you want to raise your hand and do the announcements live, please go ahead and do that. Eric, I see your message. Eric, can you email me? I'm putting it in the chat. Sorry, I'm reading the chat and talking at the same time. Only updates for myself is I think we announced at the last meeting that ANCAA has a new website too. In addition to 8801. This is something we've been working on with the Office of ANC for several years. I think we were one of 8 ANCs that got new websites that were issued by Office of Communications and Technology. I will put that in the chat. Our website will continue to be updated. But if you have things that you want on the ANC website, because we have a section for community resources, you can send us those resources and we can have that directly on our website and it can connect to yours. So please check that out. If you have not voted on our logo, please do so tonight because we plan on voting on that. I will put that link in the chat so you can vote on our logo. And then lastly, I think we announced it at the last ANC meeting. Councilmember Trayon White has introduced legislation, Commissioner Moore, correct me if I'm wrong, for a moratorium, ABCA moratorium for AA. That, of course, is a process. To introduce something that has to get approved, obviously, but we just thank the community for all of the support in trying to get that passed. We have some additional legislation that we're trying to get pushed through to Councilmember White, and we'll keep you updated. And of course, if you have things that we need to elevate to the councilmember, let us know. The last update for me before we get into it, the conversation is, it's budget season, and most of the hearings have happened on some of the different committees, but you still have an opportunity. I'll put the link in the chat to testify. This is your time. The record is still open for many of the hearings. Even if you didn't testify live, you can submit a written one. And then there is also at the end of the last couple of days, and I hope Councilmember Frumin can talk to us about it tonight, opportunity with the council of the whole when everything is coming to the budget. So this commission has testified at a lot of hearings. Some of the things that I'll put in the chat, we've elevated with DPW issues, DDOT issues, trying to get a sidewalk on Morris Road. So some of those different things that are happening. And from testifying, actually, DDOT is here with us tonight because we testified about the Pennsylvania Avenue changes that they want to make. And so DDOT reached back out to us and they're going to open back up that Pennsylvania Avenue discussion. So it's not quite closed. So we'll share all that information in the chat and just appreciate you all. Okay, I think somebody was talking. Okay, I don't see any announcements in the chat. There's a question from Ms. Lynch. Hey, Ms. Lynch. Reverend Wanda Thompson let us know that the Ward 8 clergy and faith leaders breakfast is on this Saturday from 10 to noon. Breakfast starts at 9:30, and that's at Matthews Memorial Baptist Church, just right up on MLK, right, in front of Berry Farms. Highly recommend it, everyone. It looks like we have someone from Project Purpose who wants to make an announcement. We have Aaron Jenkins from the Office of Attorney General here. Good thing to put that in the chat. Okay, the chat is really busy. Y'all read the chat. I'm not going to read everything, but I will elevate those people who wanted to make an announcement. And with that being said, I don't see any other announcements that people want to make live. I'm going to pass it over to DC Water for a very quick announcement about what's happening on W Street. DC Water, and then we'll get to MPD and Councilmember Frumin. Dexter?
Yes, I'm on. My colleague Sean Moore is going to present. Let me see if Sean is available. Hold on one second.
I remember, it's 2 Dexters on here.
Oh, well, Sean should be one of them. Sean, are you on?
Sorry about that. Yes, I am on.
Okay, I will come back to you later on.
I'm sorry. No, I don't want you to do that. I wanted to share my screen right quick. There's a couple of slides I just wanted to go through specifically. If you just bear with me, I'm multitasking here. All right, are you able to see my screen?
We can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, Dexter, we can see you, but you have a bunch of stuff showing right now. All professional stuff. All professional stuff. Not.
You know, there's only apologies. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I see where I am. Again. So anyway, that is all right. So can you see the screen? It says you know what? Basically, the reason I wanted to talk to you all this evening is, we are doing our lead service line replacement program, and one of the challenges that we're having specifically is getting folks to allow us to do test pits. And I had a slide or two on test pits that I wanted to share, and for some reason I have lost it in the whole desktop of presentations and things that I was working on. But specifically, okay. I think I can share this screen now that I finally found it.
We can do it.
Can you see that now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Sorry about that. Uh, so the most important thing here is, of course, you guys know I've been around and talked to you all before about the program, about what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, the goal is to replace all 42,000 lead service lines in the district. Since we're at 12,183 as of today, so we're definitely making some good progress. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today specifically was test pits. And what test pits are is our material verification process. And that's how we figure out officially whether or not you have a lead service line. So the way we do verifications before we do replacements is we dig these test pits, which are like a 4x4 hole, and we dig those at the property line and the water meter. And we've been having some folks who don't, have said no to test pits, or or just are concerned about test pits. And so I wanted to talk about those specifically today, answer any questions, because they're such an important part of our ability to be successful with this program. So, like I said, a test pit is a 4x4 hole that we dig at the property line and usually at the water meter. We also do what we call a point of entry inspection. That's where we look inside the house to see what type of service line material is there. And we use those two pieces of data to verify the service line material so that we can do a replacement. The key thing here is, we can't make our goal of doing these replacements if we can't get folks to allow us to do the test pits. And so, the appeal here is for you all as the ANC to, to be that resource for us, in addition to all the outreach that we're doing to help people understand what the test pits are. I think a key question for a lot of folks is, once you dig in my yard, what happens next? And that's really about restoration. But there's serious health effects related to lead, and that's why it's so important for us to remove those. And and specifically, I just wanted to come and bring up the issue with test pits and answer any other questions that you all might have about the lead-free DC program. Like I said, I know I've presented a few times before, so I don't want to be repetitive with what I've said, but I did want to make sure to talk about test pits today because it is such an important thing, and we don't want people to say no to test pits, because that is the foundation of how we know we verify service line material, how we update the map, and how we determine if you need a service line replacement. So they are very important, again, and they're the key thing to us being able to get our work done. So I know things can be disruptive for homeowners and whatnot, but the key thing here is that if we don't know what's in the ground, and the only way for us to know what's in the ground is for us to dig it up and expose it. And so that's why it's so important. And a part of the key part of it is we do provide restoration, and we actually have a webinar coming up next week to talk about that restoration process. Commissioner Donohue, I see you had a question.
Yeah, I would just note that we had you come through Fairlawn, and for the most part, everyone was pretty happy with basically the remediation. I think there's some stuff that still needs to be done. However, the line in the middle of the street that you guys cut out, the road hasn't been paved yet. All the other sort of intersections have. However, that line that's sort of in the middle of the street that goes all the way up the street has not. And I thought that was odd that they did all the intersections, but not the actual middle of the road. So, but for the most part, I wanted to just comment that Fairlawn folks have gone through this just recently, and it is a pretty straightforward process. And they will remediate whatever they do to your yard. They will remediate it to the way it was when they dug their holes or whatever they need to do. Also, I heard from DOEE today that there's assistance available that goes from the line to the house as well. So you can contact DOEE for assistance with that as well.
Yeah, so quick, under the Lead Free DC programs, we do provide a free service line replacement, the entire service line from the water main in the street into the house. So as a part of one of our programs, you can get that full service line replaced for free, depending on the type of service line material that you had. So if we go and we dig a test pit and we verify that you have a service line that's, copper on the public side and lead on the private side, you'll still be able to get that private side done for free. Our records may say it's suspected lead or suspected non-lead, and we go and we dig it up and we find, if it says suspected lead, we may find copper. If it says, suspected non-lead, we could find lead. So we don't know for sure because the records aren't 100%, they're not perfect. So we're really, we have to do those test pits in order to get the work done. And that's really the reason I wanted to come by and talk tonight.
Thank you. I see a couple of more questions. We have one from Commissioner Davis, and then we have a question in the chat. Ms. Lynch wants to know, is there a cost to the homeowner? I think you already answered that.
Yeah, no, it's free. There's no expense to the homeowner. Excuse me. And we do provide restoration. We want to leave it as good as we can, as good or better than we found it. So that's the goal. So we recognize that depending on the season, the grass may not grow perfectly. It's hard to do that in the wintertime, especially when So it is. We do ask for some grace as we go through this process, but in the end, we want to do this. It's free for homeowners. I mean, if you had to do it yourself, you're talking somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 worth of work. That we're here and we want to do it for you and do it for free. So we do appreciate your patience with us.
That's good to Commissioner Davis. And then any other questions for DC Water? I'm gonna ask you to put them in the chat. And then, just want to elevate that this is happening on W Street right now. So what Commissioner Moore said at the beginning. So Commissioner Davis.
Two quick questions. If you've already done a street and the resident did not participate, is it too late for them, or will they not come back because they missed that street? I mean, they missed the opportunity. And the second question is, when you say remediation, we have neighbors, residents who have like high-end grade grass. When you remediate it, will you put like kind back, or is it just whatever you all provide them with? Now they have this patch of mixed-mat grass.
Right. So for the remediation, if there's specific grass seed, if the homeowner has a specific grass that they have that they would like to replace, if they have that seed, we want to use it, what they have, because
but it's up to them. They have to supply that, correct? I just want to make sure I'm telling them correctly.
I'm not going to say that 100% because I know every case is different, but we do want to make sure that if it's something specific, it's easiest for us to work with the homeowner if they have that grass seed to use the same thing that they have. And as far as the folks who have not, who did not participate originally,
Yes.
they may have the opportunity to get it done in the future. Still get it done potentially for free, but that would be through another program. But I
Okay.
can't guarantee that. The one thing I can guarantee, if you do it when we offer it, it's free. If you don't participate at that time, you may be able to get it free in the future, but I can't promise you, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
And
because
you have a site map, like a tool, interactive tool that shows the streets that's already been done?
it not to show what's already been done, it'll show you what the blocks are. If you have questions about specific blocks, I can look those up
No,
and
no.
let you know what the status of that block is.
Okay, I'll contact you offline
Okay,
and ask those questions. Thank you.
perfect.
Much. Thank you, Dexter. And if you want to share that tool in the chat, I think that would be helpful for folks. Okay, so it looks like we have some Lieutenant Muntaz here. Lieutenant, I'm not sure which precinct you're joining us from. I don't know if we have anyone from 60. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of stuff happen in the news with MPD lately.
Yeah.
I don't know about that tonight, but maybe you can introduce yourself and let us know which precinct you're representing or district.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I am Lieutenant Mumtaz from 7th District. My PSA is 701.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to 8A. I think this may be your first meeting with us.
No, this is actually my second.
Second, I thought you came on. Yeah, well, how about you let us know what's happening? I think Commander Botley said he's leaving the 7th District. He sent us an email, said that he is retiring. So maybe let us know. And if anyone has any questions for MPD 7th District, please put those in the chat. I don't think 6th District will be joining us tonight because they were mentioning this. But go ahead, Lieutenant.
Yes, so our Commander Butler, he is retiring in June. I believe first week of June would be his last week. But we do have a new commander now, Commander Harding. So Commander Butler has been on leave, and Commander Harding has just joined. He has just been assigned to 70, so I'm sure he will be reaching out to everybody, introducing himself. Yes, and also I will leave my email in the chat. If anybody has any question, please reach out to me. There's one thing I wanted to let everybody know, that I will be probably by the end of this month will be scheduling a community walk. And if anybody who has any questions, any issues, or any particular areas they want us to conduct that walk, and I would appreciate it. We will look into it, and I will send out invitations to you guys so you can join our walk, the time and location.
Is there any way that
Guys, oh, sorry, I was about to answer. Does anyone have questions for 7th District tonight? I do have a question, but I'll open it up to others first. Donohue, were you saying something?
I was just going to, we continue to have this issue with 6D not being present at our meetings. Lieutenant, is there anyone that you can contact over at 6D to see if they can join us tonight when we're done with your questions?
Thank you. Anyone else have questions for
It popped up again.
Yeah, I took it out. Yeah, so it's for the lieutenant. Anybody else who has questions? All right, community members, you have questions for the lieutenant. I think this is the first. No questions for MTD. I have a question. There was like 3 shootings in my single member district in the last couple of weeks. Well, my single member district and Commissioner Moore's, because we're border. It was the domestic incident that happened on Morris Road. There was Pitt's Place, and then there was like 16th and W. And they all kind of happened within like a 5 or 6 day period. Can you provide us any updates on whether those incidents were connected at all, or if they were all individual? And I just want to note, like, we've had in my single member district, at least in the last 6 months, 2 homicides from domestic violence. And I understand the one on Morris was domestic violence related, and just want to understand like what additional interventions are happening with not just MPD, but other agencies and partners about domestic violence, because that's what I'm seeing more and more in my single member district. And then I'll go to Commissioner Moore.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was reading that question in the chat. Let me answer that question first. No, I have not, but I would love to, and I would love him to join our walks as well, or we can join his walk. That would be great. If you can provide me his information, I will reach out to him. Thank you so much. Yes. So yes, 7D overall, 7D and 6D overall has unfortunately seen a high rate in reference to these violent crime. We've seen a lot of assaults with weapons, knives, and obviously homicides as well. So what we have done at our part is that obviously coverage. We are covering the area. We have made it important areas like Morris, like 16 and W. They were already our hot beats. That's what we call it. And we are paying special attention. We have our officers who are constantly there monitoring, canvassing the area at all times and at all tours. That's what we have done. As far as the domestic violence, so when there's a domestic related offense or incident, we have our detectives who give information out to our victims in reference to any kind of domestic assistance that they can get. It's called OCAP. They give them phone numbers, and then they make sure, or sometimes they call for them, so they can talk to somebody at OCAP who can provide them any kind of assistance that they need in reference to like say they need a night to stay somewhere because they don't feel safe at their house. So they connect them with OCAP agents, and then they will provide them assistance. So our detectives, our officers, they are trained, and they will provide that information to our victims. But it really, what helps us is sometimes what happens is when we get called for domestic violences, family disturbances, and our own victim, they're not cooperating with us. They don't give us, they call 911, we respond there, but they don't give us any information. So, and this, unfortunately, domestic violence is not like a one-time incident. It happens like it's been happening, like, you see that it's going on, and then at a certain point, that's what it ends up happening. Unfortunately, something violent. What really would also help us, like if victims, they're not forthcoming, neighbors, witnesses, whoever see these, if they can provide us any information and they can call police and help us, that so we can report it, so we have something to go go with to report these incidents and offenses, so we can make arrests if we have any information. But unfortunately, we have we see that there is some resistance, especially coming from the victim reporting these incidents. And we also have our outreach. I would really like I would get in touch with our outreach members, and what they can do is set up a domestic violence related outreach, and they'll have brochure. People can come in, and they can go to the people, walk there, and provide them some information, how to prevent it, how to report it, what facilities or what resources we as MPD provide, and what other agencies that can assist them.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Commissioner Moore.
Good day, Lieutenant. I would like to know, I've reached out for about a week at the time that it took place, but there was some type of activity that took place on 16th and W up in the woods. I don't want to speculate on what we thought it was, and I've reached out a couple times to find out exactly what it was that took place in the woods on 16th and W at the very top. We had some neighbors that was concerned, and some speculation and stuff started, traveling around by word, but we are still not sure exactly what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what incident you're referring to. Do you know what date and time it was?
One moment. It was in the woods of 16th and W at the top, and I'll get you that date momentarily, even if I put it in the chat.
Okay, well, thank you, Lieutenant. I think if that's all the questions, we appreciate you being here and look forward to just hearing more from you. And then
I'm
you have some
sorry.
questions.
I'm sorry, Chair, Commissioner White.
Oh, sorry.
It was March 30th.
March 30th. Do you know around what time it was? Like during the day, evening, like at night?
During the day at 1:06.
At 1:06. Okay, yeah, I will look into it and definitely get back to you with that.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Moore, you have her contact information? Okay. And then Lieutenant Reverend Wanda has asked for your contact information in the chat.
Yes, I'm.
Okay, perfect. All right, I want to get us kind of back on track. I want to welcome Councilmember Matt Frumin tonight. I think we did get someone from 60. I'm going to message you separately. We'll wait to see if you can come after the Councilmember. But Councilmember Frumin, welcome to ANCAA. I don't think you've been to our entire ANC before. I know you met with us in our office a couple of years ago, but I don't think you've been to an entire commission meeting before. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I don't think I have attended one of your commission meetings before, but I was a commissioner for 6.5 years, so it's old home week for me to be at an ANC meeting.
Thank you so much. Well, for those who don't know you, how about we just give you a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and the committees that you oversee, and then we can start our conversation for tonight. We appreciate you being here with us, and we definitely want you to talk about within that any opportunities for commissioners to still input into the budget process. So I'll spotlight you and turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm Matt Frumin. I'm the Ward 3 council member. I chair the Committee on Human Services, which has the Department of Human Services, also the libraries, also the Office of Lottery and Gaming, and DEMPED. It's a pretty interesting mix of different agencies, but they somehow actually fit together. In terms of the budget process, I think Commissioner White was referring to an upcoming hearing on May 13th, which is the big hearing on the whole budget, which is an opportunity if you want to testify about any aspect of the budget, you could go there. I would encourage people, if they're interested in the budget, to go to the council website, and there's the DC Council budget /FY-2027-budget. That's the budget office's page where they have all of the information about the budget process, all of the budget chapters, all of the background information, and the hearing schedule and such. And that's a very useful place to go to the extent that you want to weigh in. And you do want to weigh in this budget season, because this is a really bad budget. I don't want to blame the mayor. The mayor got dealt a tough hand, and the CFO has been very restrictive about how much he's allowing us to spend. That's a little bit of a complicated story, but everything that's important to you has been cut. And, so in some places there are deep cuts, and the council's got to figure out what to do in the face of that. And you want your voice to be heard, to weigh in about the things that are most important. And I'll stop and go to the conversation in just a second, but as an example, I have oversight over our public benefits, and there are big changes coming to TANF. The beginnings of cutoffs after 60 months, work requirements kicking in for SNAP, work requirements kicking in for Medicaid. there's a lot of pressure out there in a lot of different ways. And part of this conversation just now was about domestic violence, and it's scary actually that a lot of crime is down, but domestic violence is not. And domestic violence seems like it's going up. And why is that? You know, as you look at that, I think we have a lot of people who are under a lot of pressure, and they're acting out inside of their family worlds even more so than they might have at another time. So there is this interplay between the outside human services environment and the success of the neighborhoods and success of communities generally. And that's sort of the intersection of the work that we're doing on the committee. And with that, I imagine people may have specific questions that they're interested in. I'll step back and take questions. Does that work, Commissioner White?
Yes, Councilmember, that works. And it sounds like you may be struggling with your allergies, similar to what many of us are.
Yeah, I think it's a genuine cold. This has been, I sound worse than I am, but not a lot worse than I am. Anyways, yeah. Thank you for your sympathy.
Yeah, and thank you for staying with us. So we won't try to keep you. So I'll start with 8A. We'll go in order. How about that? We'll go in order from the commissioners, and then we'll ask the community, invite the community to put their questions in the chat. And like Councilmember Frumin said, I think this is my first time being on the commission where I've seen a council member oversee both human services and economic development. And so I do think that's a unique opportunity, and actually an opportunity, right? So Commissioner Donohue, and then we'll just go in order. So everyone just one after the other, and we'll keep it rolling.
Good evening, Councilmember. Mine actually, I know you're a strong advocate for education, and I actually wanted to ask you a question about education, if you don't mind. Sure. Given your extensive background in education advocacy, how can the council better support a funding follows the student model so that schools like Boone Elementary and Kramer Middle School aren't shortchanged on critical funding if they get an influx like they always do of students after the October 5th deadline?
I mean, this is a drum that I have been beating for a decade. And it is a really, really important observation that you make, because we need to support all of our schools, and we need to support our charter schools, and we need to support our DCPS schools, but they have different experiences. And what you see in the charter sector often is kids leaving in the middle of the year, and the charter schools retain the dollars associated with those kids. And what you see on the DCPS side, particularly at places like Boone and Kramer, is kids arriving in the middle of the year. And it's not the same when a kid leaves and when a kid arrives. When a kid leaves, you might have a child who was difficult who leaves the classroom and makes it easier to operate in that classroom. That child moves to another school. They've gone through a trauma of changing their school in the middle of the year, and they move into a new place and can be a challenge to work with. So we absolutely 110% have to prepare. We have to be ready on August 24th at Boone and at Kramer for the reality that 50 kids are going to arrive during the course of the year. We need to have the people in place who have the capacity to deal with that. I actually think we're getting closer on that. I think the way in which the city has done funding, and some of this is around advocacy that I've done, to build in a cushion for DCPS so that they are funded for more children than you actually would expect on count day to accommodate that mid-year growth. But please keep banging that drum, because that is a real challenge for schools in our low-income neighborhoods in particular. It's not an issue in Ward 3 in the same way, but at Boone and Kramer, it's a really big issue, the challenge of dealing with those mid-year arrivals.
I had the opportunity to work with their LSAT this year over at Kramer, and it was an eye-opening experience. How they go through their budget and what they have to decide, and the decisions that they had to decide were extremely challenging. And so that funding, when a student, leaves and comes in mid-school year, I mean, it's significant. And so we have got to do a better job with I mean, these are our Ward 8 schools, and I'm really concerned about it. But thank you. I appreciate your time.
No, and I'm really glad you brought it up. I mean, I want more and more people to bring this up because it is a giant challenge in schools in Ward 8.
Consider me an advocate, and please use me if I can be of any of assistance in beating that drum.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Davis, I'm not gonna, Commissioner Foreman, I'm not gonna call y'all, so we can go in order to save a little time. Commissioner Foreman.
I think you may be on mute.
Yeah, and I think you
Unmute,
have a little
Foreman.
delay. You still on mute, Commissioner Foreman. I think it's a little delay too with your video. We can see you moving, but we don't hear anything. Okay, we're gonna come back to Foreman. Commissioner Davis, and then Commissioner Moore. We'll come back to Commissioner Foreman before opening up to committee.
I want to say, first of all, thank you, Councilmember Frumin, for joining us. And my question is surrounding low-income housing. I support low-income housing, but we have an influx of low-income housing that's being saturated in our community, and my constituents are very concerned. And the question is there anything being done to make it more equitable across the city? Because we are seeing mostly all of the low-income housing that it's coming over here to the Ward 8 side.
So, are you referring to new buildings that are intended
Yes.
for low-income housing?
Yes.
I do think that there is an effort to try to distribute that, and I actually have been a strong advocate in Ward 3 for hosting more low-income housing, whether it be through buildings that are designed for it or through the voucher program. One of the things that you hear everywhere, and you may feel it, I came to your neighborhood and I heard about a particularly bad situation that was going on. I have the sense that might have improved, but you might feel like it's just us, but it's happening in lots of different places. And there are places in Ward 4 where the city has contributed to creating enclaves of very low income, very high needs people who are not being served. And then it creates an enormous problem. And we need to find ways to house folks, but we also have to be cognizant of the impact that folks can have on a community if they're not getting the support and the services that they need, and subject to the accountability that they need. And so I hear you, and I think I met with Commissioner White and a number of other people and know about a situation that was particularly tricky. But you're not alone. It is spread. I've been active citywide for a very long time and been an advocate for affordable housing. And often I would find myself east of the river where people were saying, yeah, we've had enough of that. We need market housing. Like, we want to have mixed income communities. So please focus the new affordable housing projects in other parts of the city, not here. Give us more development that is market oriented. That's a totally legitimate perspective. And I support seeing things like that happen in Ward 8. Go ahead.
Other wards, there was something that there were pledges from other wards throughout DC, and they pledged a commitment to a certain level of affordable housing. And Ward 8 is the only ward that met, and not only met, exceeded their commitment. What is being done to encourage those other wards to keep their commitment?
Yeah, so I mean, Ward 3, which is the ward I represent, has been pathetic in our response on that. And it wasn't so much that the wards made commitments; it's that the mayor set goals for different wards, and some wards have come close to hitting their goals, and some have hit it, and some are far, far away. And Ward 3 is one that is far away. Over half of what Ward 3 has accomplished is a project that I was a leader on before I came on the council at the Lisner home on Western Avenue. And it is a struggle in lots of parts of the city and in Ward 3 to get things built and to get affordable housing built. I have a lot of scars from being an advocate for getting those things done, but it's really important, and I owe it to you. We need to do our share.
Thank you.
Back off of Commissioner Davis. I think I'm next anyway, because
yes,
Commissioner Moore is next. One of the things I just remember, Councilmember Frumin, that during the pandemic, it was a new development. It was probably the one you were pushing. And I saw on the news where there were Ward 3 residents out protesting this affordable housing development. And one thing that this one woman said was, "What do you want us to look like, Anacostia?" She was an older white woman who looked of well means. And what she said was so disheartening at how certain people look at our community and how wealth and resources and power are concentrated in Ward 3, where it's primarily white, wealthier people, and concentration of poverty is happening like in Black communities east of the river primarily, in other pockets. So I don't want to just credit what's ever happening, but the fact that Ward 3 can stop it from happening is like you said, it's pathetic, but the fact that it's not happening is highly problematic. And I'm not going to go too deep, because I'm a huge housing justice. Housing is a human right. Everyone deserves housing that is affordable, that housing is a right. Without housing, nothing else can really happen for prosperity. But what's happening, like you said, and Commissioner Davis said, because the city is not propping up the resources, that we need to thrive, underfunding our schools. Like you said, you can have students leave in Ward 3 and it doesn't matter, but if a student leaves in Ward 8 in the middle of the year, everything is kind of a tide. We're not getting the same chance of life. Like we're really being treated as underclass citizens and second class communities when this is allowed to happen. And I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you mentioned it. And one of the problems that happens is it starts to be, in my opinion, this dehumanization of low-income people. And not looking at the system that has also put them in the position that they cannot earn more to earn more. And it's like a dehumanization of them, and they're low-income Black people. And I would be remiss if I wouldn't say it. And this like really pervasive narrative and what stops, people from living fruitful lives. And I just wonder, as Ward 3 chair member who's over DHS and who's over economic development, like what can you do like to help try to at least either have that conversation or bridge the gap? Because for me to see like a older white woman say, "What do you want us to look like?" It was in Chevy Chase. Anacostia, like it was so racist. I'm just gonna say
right.
It was
and disrespectful.
And disrespectful. And it's like, if this is the mentality, but yet these people are the ones who are controlling where resources go in the community and like kind of controlling decisions that are being made. So that was really sitting on me. I'm sorry y'all to get like super, super deep, but it's the reality that we're living in. We're sitting here talking about how if you leave a school, it's devastating, but if it happens in a certain area, it's like, oh, it's okay. We got enough money in the PTA or other places. But it's just, it's this whole trap, right? That the cyclical trap that it seems like we're in, and the only justification is displacement. I don't know. It seems like
So what would be the long-term economic development strategy outside of building more affordable low-income housing? What is the long-term economic development plan for Ward 8? That's the broader question.
I mean, it is a broader question, and support for the business corridors is a piece of it. Encouraging businesses to locate in Ward 8 is a piece of it. Connecting people to work is a really big piece of it. And right now, our adult workforce programs just are not delivering in anything like the kind of way that they need to. I have been a K through 12 person for a decade and a half, but I'm increasingly becoming an adult workforce person. And you can feel however you want to feel about RFK, but if we don't train 6,000 carpenters, plumbers, electricians from the District of Columbia to get those jobs and earn those middle class incomes from building RFK, shame on us. And so we need to do what it takes to create the pipeline of opportunity for folks and connect them to jobs. It's not just those jobs. There's all kinds of different jobs that are out there that have real opportunity for people, that we need to be training them in and giving them the opportunity to pursue a career in those spaces. That's how you give people a sense of hope. That's the most effective public safety strategy that we could have, is creating that kind of thing. And we're going to spend a lot of money supporting the construction of this multi-billion-dollar complex at RFK. We sure better put people to work.
Yeah. Our hands are buzzing. I'm sorry, community members, that you come off mute. I'm muting you back just so the council member can finish. Go ahead.
I mean, I think there are different kinds of projects that I think connecting people to work is a fundamental part of economic revitalization. There are other things that are in front of DEMPED, that are in front of me, and I'm trying to make sure we keep those things moving. And we're pretty aggressively holding hearings to try to keep things on track. And the thing that I can do is facilitate, not impede, new projects that can happen. But I still do think the biggest thing is creating opportunities for people on the ground.
Commissioner Moore, I want to go to you, and then I'm gonna come back to myself, and then I'm gonna go to, in this order, Christina Noel, Patrick O'Keefe, and Ron Moten.
All right. Good day, Councilmember Frumin. How are you?
Very good. And you?
Excellent. Thank you for joining us tonight. So just in my observation, I want to talk about DPR. We have new facilities that have come over here in Ward 8, and we did a couple events at some of these facilities. Specifically, I'd like to point out the Anacostia Rec at Ketchum. I think week 3, the handicap button for the wheelchairs to open up the doors, it does not work, and it hasn't worked, and it still doesn't work. And then I noticed that the maintaining the grounds with DGS, I see DGS is on the call. They do not empty the outside trash cans, and they do not thoroughly clean the bathrooms. And so when we had the event, people did not even want to use the bathrooms because they just had not been cleaned. And so for the 2 days that I was there, pretty much organizing and setting up for the event, I noticed how they came in, and I observed they pretty much come in and do a very light sweep of the premises. On the day of the event, we could not even use the trash can outside because it hadn't been emptied. I was very concerned about that. And my concern was, since it's budget season, do we have a budget to maintain these new facilities? They're nice facilities, but just now before I came to this meeting, I intentionally took a picture of what it looked like out there. It's trashed. It is completely trashed. Trash outside overflowing, trash on the ground, and it's not becoming. It's not becoming at all. It's not welcoming for those who may want to enter the facility and check it out because it is new. My other concern was the oversight, because when I would talk to the staff and ask them, who cleans it and whatnot, they just weren't sure the time that they would be coming and who does the oversight. So if the budget does become available for hiring additional staff to clean thoroughly, or if it needs to be cleaned 3 times a day, because maybe they come out once a day, then that is necessary. It truly is. And then DPR, the staff for that, the facility is turning into a daycare. It's just a bunch of kids who are going there and they don't have no hard programming. I do appreciate DPR meeting with the Friends of Anacostia to get us on the schedule to see what programming will look like for some of these program organizations who work in the community already. However, right now, while there's no programming, I witnessed the one staff that's staffed there in the evening just constantly redirecting children so that they don't harm themselves. And so I don't think it was taken into consideration that younger children between the ages of 4 and 8 would be at the facility. So it was just one big basketball court, and then there's a playground. And so these children who are looking for sensory learning and cognitive skills don't have anything to do. So they're messing with the doors. They're constantly pushing the buttons. They're running up and down the hallways. And that one staff who's there is just constantly redirecting. And so if it came down to safety, he would be in trouble because that is a huge problem. He doesn't have backup. So he's not monitored. He's not able to just have eyes all around as far as who's coming in the facility, what the children are doing in the bathroom, to how they're, he definitely needs some more staffing. And we requested that staffing comes from the community so that the parents and everyone can be properly communicated with as far as what and how and when, things can come about when we bring programming there. And then lastly, since you are over the disabilities and deaf and blind and hard of hearing, there was a few deaf parents there, and because my first language is sign language, I did interpret, but there weren't any spaces or opportunities for them to gain knowledge or information about the center if they wanted to, because there was no one there to interpret. And trying to rely on a 7-year-old to interpret that type of information is very difficult for the 7-year-old who may not have the reading capability. So I would also ask that you consider putting some type of resource or direction. I know they have the call phones, maybe a QR code that they can use on their phone that will lead them to the information. But if you come in deaf and hard of hearing or blind, you can't get in the door, nor will you know where you are or what it is that's going on. You can feel ostracized, and you will, just kind of feel left out, and you will discontinue to come down there. And if your children want to participate and you're having a hard time communicating, they most likely won't be able to attend. And we do have a deaf community here in Ward 8 that deserve those services for their children.
And everything that you described is pretty distressing, to tell you the truth. On the disability side, I actually don't have oversight over it, but it's an important issue. And so to the extent that there are folks who are not being served in that sort of way, we really thank you for lifting it up. On the trash issue, this happens everywhere. And DGS has responsibility for some of the trash, and DPW has responsibility for other of the trash. And one of them, they're all falling down in different places. And it is a thing that we try to stay on top of them on oversight. Only on DGS and the maintenance, DGS has been the biggest construction company in the region. They built all these schools, they built all these rec centers, but now they're becoming the biggest maintenance company in the region. And it is really important that we invest in maintenance. We spent billions of dollars on these schools and rec centers. And if we're not investing in maintaining them, we're just squandering all of that investment. I mean, people deserve to have beautiful places to go to, but it also, just from an economic perspective, makes sense to be investing in them. Staffing, DPR staffing is a thing that came up a fair amount actually today at the legislative meeting. We got to have adults in place who can help kids, particularly in a place like the community around Ketchum. And so I'm not familiar with the rec center, but I sure want to make sure that it is fully staffed and that there are adults there who are conveying a sense of love, not just to the kids, not just trying to keep them from hurting themselves. So sorry to hear all the things that you said. I'll carry them back, but we got to make it better.
Yeah. One thing that Commissioner Moore just pointed on is that I'm not sure if you saw the study that came out a couple years ago about the majority of shootings that happen in near schools, within a couple of blocks of schools, and Ketchum was in like the top 5. In terms of like shootings in DC that happen within close proximity to schools. So this rec center is a tool, you know, for safety, not prevention, I'm not gonna say that, but providing safe spaces. And when it's not kept up, it's kind of like defeating, you know, that purpose too. So I want to definitely turn it over to the community, because we do want to have an ask for you when it comes back to this conversation about where resources are concentrated and what happens, because you brought up a few good points. So I'm going to go in order. Like I said, Christina Noel, then Patrick O'Keefe, and then Ronald Moten. If anyone else has questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll come back to the commissioners to cap it off. Christina Noel.
Apologies. Hi, Councilmember Frumin. I know I'll be seeing you later on in the week, I believe, on the 8th, but I was pulled to talk to you this evening because there's some things that we wanted to make sure we touched base on tonight. So we're very curious to find out, for example, Ward 3 has some of the most well-resourced commercial corridors, downtown, Golden Triangle, you know. The Anacostia bid and other smaller bids, the funding levels are so low, and yet there's a lot of mass and not as much base, but a tremendous amount of clean team work that needs to be done, that it's very, very difficult. And typically smaller bids like ours have to literally raise money to help provide, be a good partner with regard to assistance with city services. Would you consider supporting a baseline funding formula for like all bids, so that there is a baseline of service that everyone, no matter what bid it is, can provide a higher level of cleaning, safety opportunities, things like that? Larger bids not only have their built environment, so they are in a maintenance kind of posture. Smaller bids like ours, we're in a building. We're building. So, you know, that would be of great interest to us. And I was very curious if you would support something like that.
So this is the first that I've heard of it. I am quite intrigued by the idea. I don't know if you know, Brianne has legislation about something in, I think it's in Columbia Heights, because she perceives it to face the similar kind of challenge in terms of the funding. And so it's an alternative to a bid. But what you're suggesting of baseline funding for a bid actually appeals to me more. Every year I add money for the main streets. I haven't focused on the bids. There aren't bids in Ward 3. Well, actually now there is. Friendship Heights. It has a bid. Yeah. It's a cross-border bid, but until then there weren't bids in Ward 3. I don't want to make a hard promise, but I'm pretty intrigued by the idea, and you do amazing stuff, Christina, and I want to support you. And and your project of contributing to the you know, making sure that historic Anacostia in that area is as vital as possible is a really important project for the city. So we should be open to the idea of a minimum funding for bids. But let me digest it, and thank you for raising it.
Thank you. I just have really quick, you know, a couple more. We have been really successful with leaning into becoming the official arts and culture district for the city. And when I say that is because it's something that the community really embraces. And that it actually helps with foot traffic in a tremendous way. And the funding that we had received helps us to work on that infrastructure to make it the area not only feel like an arts and culture district, it's organically that anyway because of the people that are here and the activations and the things that are organically happening. But in shifting the identity from a crime-ridden place, which it is not, there's crime happening everywhere, to a place that's very unique, very the flavor is there, a really cool place to be. We're waterfront, all the things you know because you come to all of our stuff. It's been very important. One of the things that we feel would be a serious game changer is if we could work with council and DDOT to have the name of the metro change from Anacostia Metro to Anacostia Arts and Culture District Metro. Because no matter where you are, if you're a visitor coming into the city and haven't been in DC or anything, an arts and culture district, you're going to want to make your way over. Check it out. It just also helps us to navigate this identity that we need to shift. And is that something that there is a cost to it that the city would have to work with us on it? I'm really into public-private partnerships, and I believe we could figure it out, some kind of a match or something to be able to get that done. But is that something that you would support?
I would approach WMATA about it. I haven't done something like this. I had folks in Cleveland Park approach me because they want to change the metro to the Cleveland Park Zoo Metro. There's the Woodley Park Zoo Metro, and they feel like they're equidistant to the zoo as Woodley Park. And just having zoo in the name might lead to more people getting out there and then going to the zoo and frequenting their business district. So the idea of it, I'm open to the idea of it. I haven't had any conversations with WMATA about what does it take to change the name, what criteria do you use, but I'd raise it with them.
I'm happy to set that up. We've been talking to them for a while, and they brought to my attention that there are a few different areas that want to do that. And I'm just wondering if there's some economy of scale that we might be able to meet and actually get it done for not just us, but for others in the city. And I'm happy to send over the information that I've collected. So maybe we can do this together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm receptive to doing that. I now I have my ward council member hat on, and I would want to. I would not want to get too far out in front of the Ward 8 council member. So I would hope if the Ward 8 council member was supportive of the idea, I could be supportive in parallel with him.
Yes, he's absolutely supportive.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, great.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I get that. And with the Arts and Culture District, we did receive funding years ago, and we've done everything that we said that we were going to do. And I hope that you support our funding for the 2027 year. It has been, again, very successful with providing free transportation, additional public safety and cleanliness opportunities. But I hope that you would continue to support funding for the Arts and Culture District so that we can actually amplify what we're doing even more.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you've been doing. It's really creative and path-breaking, so sure.
Thank you. Public safety.
Christina, this your last question.
Okay, okay. Well, let me forget the public safety one then. Let me ask the one that I really need. So this is the last one. Because I will be seeing him soon. So we have been working really hard for actually a very long time on a retention, attraction, stabilization plan for businesses within the Anacostia bid. We've provided multiple plans to DemPed, and they really like them, and DemPed has been very supportive. And some of the ideas, which is fantastic, have been able to be used for the entire city. My only concern with that is typically when it's for the entire city and we're not the pilot for these things, that it gets diluted and it's extremely competitive, and we need focused investment. I love the fact of the investment that has been approved to be put forth in Anacostia for the food access grant and other grants. I don't know that we have been the best stewards of the investments that we have put into the area. And I want to put forth this. I'm going to send you the plan that we put together. We have a condition of subsidy that is really kicking us badly at this point because the city does not have the funding to continue to support with the same levels of subsidy. So what we're hoping to do is to create a fund that is a revolving fund. It's a public-private partnership where we need the seed dollars from DC Gov, and then we have the private side put dollars into it. It's to raise a fund that we can actually help small businesses, attract businesses. I will share it with you before I come to our meeting, but we're looking at ways to become self-sustaining and empower our businesses to be able to take care of themselves, but also with long-term assistance, not just a workshop for back of the house or something like that. 3 to 5 years pathway to make sure they're at sustainability. And I hope that when you take a look at what we send over to you, that you'll have the perception that you're not just bailing out businesses. Like, for example, the food access grant, that was for food access. It's definitely to give money to businesses to come and be in the area. And we've got some amazing businesses because of it. And we're grateful. That did not give them the runway to be able to overcome the challenges that being in Anacostia with higher expenses than older businesses have. It doesn't overcome that and the foot traffic and all of those things that we're dealing with. So it's really important to make sure that we get ahead of it because we don't want to lose the businesses or the investment that's there. And the investment wasn't just to help a business, it was to help an entire community. So as we look at things, as you're looking at the budget, please don't look at things like, I don't want to give businesses that I've already given money to get started in an area or something like that. The investment was for the community to access food. And it's just a much broader discussion than that. And for us to be sustainable as a creative business hub, it's important that we have continued support that makes sense. Sorry about that.
Got it.
All right. So, I mean, I don't want to commit on any specific thing. You're going to provide me the details, but the historic Anacostia, your community needs to succeed. So it's not a question of, oh, if this doesn't work or something doesn't work, we're done. We got to keep turning the dial and looking for new things to get to where it works. So I don't want to commit to something that I haven't seen, but the principle of let's be creative to try to make sure we're supporting businesses and making the community and the business district as dynamic as possible. I'm 100% with you on that. Let's look at the details.
Thank
together.
you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Patrick and then Ron, and then we're going to wrap it up with the council member.
Thank you, Chair White. I will keep it very quick. I think it was to Commissioner Davis's point earlier about housing stock. Councilmember, thank you so much for taking time to join us this evening and take our questions. I think I just wanted to add to that I think a lot of people's priority is balanced growth. So we need housing, but we also need commercial investments, jobs, and amenities so residents here can thrive. So an influx of any single housing type in any ward doesn't create sustainable development. And I think the comparison of what's been happening in Ward 4 to Ward 8 is just not really accurate. Ward 8's received the largest number of newly built 100% affordable housing projects in the district for the past 7 years. According to DHCD, we've added more than 2,500 newly constructed 100% affordable housing units since 2019. Ward 4 has done maybe a few hundred. Ward 8 consistently leads the city in new 100% affordable projects financed through the Housing Production Trust Fund. And Ward 4's recent pipeline is dominated by mixed income or market rate projects, not affordable, 100% affordable units. So I just wanted to flag that. We'd love to follow up with you and share more of that information. Understand that affordable housing is going in other segments of the community, but to Commissioner Davis's point earlier, the vast majority, disproportionate majority is coming into this community. And if we want to see some of this economic growth, job opportunities and amenities that residents can use, we need more balance, not a single type. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
All right, and I get it. I mean, and I have heard that from, it's not a comfort, but I've heard that from communities east of the river for a decade and a half, and we got to get it right.
Thank you. Ron. Ron, you still with us?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, going back, I don't know how to cut the picture on here, but going back to what you were saying about the affordable housing and the challenges with affordable housing, I think that we definitely have to create a real program that teaches people how to adjust when they move on and up in society. So you give a person a voucher, they come into apartment building, and I'll give you a prime example. My father's on 5th and K. I remember when he moved into the building. Young guys moving with their grandmother on the 5th floor and turned it into an open-air drug market on 5th and K Street. It took them a year to get the people out who were terrorizing the building. Then you have people that come in the building and drag the trash down the hallway to the point where the carpet stinks and smells like a trash can, right? So you have all these behaviors going on while somebody is paying market rent. So what happens? All the people who want to move with people in the mixed use and help build a community together, they move out. So the model doesn't work if we don't put any accountability and life lessons in the process. And as long as people keep on making up excuses and this, that, and the other, it's not going to work. People in Ward 3 are not going to have that shit up in their community. You can say whatever you want to say. It's not going to happen. It should happen everywhere, like everybody's saying. But if we don't have no accountability, if we don't teach people who might not know any better because they haven't had the opportunity to be around some of the things we've been around, then don't expect nothing to change. That's number one. Number two, in Ward 8, I feel the same sentiment that I felt in Ward 4, where I grew up at. I've been on the other side of the river for over 24 years. I grew up uptown for over 30 years, and I watched how so-called progressives come to a community for the so-called betterment of my people and run us the hell out. And when they put them bike lanes, not the bike lanes, when they came and took 15 parking spaces from us in a business district that all day, all people do is complain, I can't come to Anacostia because there's no parking. To me, it's deliberate. It's planned out, and it's not by accident. Because my clientele, they do not ride bikes, they do not have money to catch Uber every day, and they're not going to do that. So when you take 19 parking spaces, they took 4 in front of my building and another 15 across the street. How do we have a happy hour? How do we have a chance to thrive when you come and just take this stuff from us without talking? And then we fail, and then you come over and take up all the good work that we put into our community, and then you come and take what we built and then thrive. And that's the way I see it. And I think it's a damn shame that people act like they don't see what's going on. I've seen this story before. D Dot, she's coming on next. I feel like she's disrespectful as hell because they don't listen to us and they do what the hell they want to do. And it's a damn shame, man. It's really a damn shame. Y'all force this stuff down our throats. We don't want no 30-second bus lane in Anacostia. Bus lanes are good where they work. But why would you take 15 parking spaces and then you're giving people $200 tickets, and they never come back? That people don't even understand that you can't park there, and they're getting $200 tickets, and then they complain they don't come back to Anacostia. It's crazy. And something needs to be done right away about this.
Okay, well, I mean, on the DDOT issues that you're talking about, I can't say it's the first time that I've heard about it, because I think I saw you a week or two ago and you raised this. So, but it is, I have not dialed in on exactly what it is that's happening there. But I want to support business districts. I would definitely want to support the Anacostia Business District. I'm going to leave it to the DDOT folks to speak to it. On the voucher thing, I mean, it actually is the case that things like what you're talking about have been happening in Ward 3 in different places, and folks are up in arms about it where it happens and trying to change it. And it is a hard conversation, but the points that you make about the need for accountability, like, there has to be accountability when people are behaving in ways where they're making it unsafe for their neighbors, or they're doing things like dragging the trash through the hallway. There has to be accountability, and there isn't in the way in which the system works now. And when I would say that a couple of years ago, it was pretty far out of the mainstream, but more and more people are getting it, that it isn't the victims from the breakdown in certain buildings from the behavior of a small number of people, that everybody suffers, and it's not right. And where we are right now on the voucher scene is, in other years, the talk has been, how many new vouchers are we going to have? This year, the question is, how many vouchers are we going to lose? Because the funding just isn't there, and we're not having what's called turnover vouchers. When somebody gives up their voucher, it had been the case that somebody new would come in behind them. That's not what's happening now. And so we have lots of people out there with needs who aren't being served. And then we have some people who are getting a giant benefit and maybe behaving in ways that is just, seriously detracting from the quality of life of a lot of people around them. We have to find a different solution for those folks and make room for folks who are going to play by the rules.
And I just want to say this last thing. To that point, I've had young people that I work with who've had vouchers, and I explained to them about the HPAC program and the program they had at HUD that matches you dollar for dollar in escrow for the rent that you pay, and they went on to buy houses. I think a lot of stuff is a taught mentality. It's a taught mentality for people to be satisfied where they at. And if we don't help push people forward and help them get where I know most people want to go, that's what happens. And accountability is important, but the most important thing is just showing people the way. A lot of these people, it's like you give somebody a voucher who's never seen things like this, and you expect because they got a voucher, they're just gonna go in the building and do things they haven't done. So I think the training part should really be intensive and be serious, and most people will act accordingly. But right now we don't have that. So you're just throwing the people into a building, and then you got people that move into the building since COVID that don't pay their rent. So, and they working. I'm not talking about the people who have hard times. Everybody see them go out the building and they work and they come back and don't pay their rent. Then when they finally get put out there, they leave before they get put out, go get rent somewhere else, get a lease somewhere else and do the same thing. And what happens? The people in the building suffer because if you got 40% of the building doing this, now the security company is low grade, the trash removal is low grade, and other things like that start happening. And I understand we got to get rid of slumlords, but everybody's not a slumlord because they want to be one. A lot of times we let the system beat people down till they don't give a damn no more. And we can't keep letting that happen either.
I mean, I agree with everything that you said. We need to be supporting people and helping them find a path to fulfillment and independence. And you're 100% right on this non-payment of rent. And that's a giant issue. And that's another one of these things where everybody suffers. You're exactly right. The landlord will say, well, we can't have 24-hour security because we just can't afford it. And they may not be able to afford it because a quarter of the people aren't paying rent. And there's only so many things that they can cut when they're not getting money. And one of those things that they cut is maintenance. And so there's a social compact that's broken, and we gotta support people, and people gotta pay their rent and play by the rules. And there's two sides to the coin. You're totally right. It isn't just, cross your fingers and hope that somebody can make their way to independence and something that's fulfilling. We got to help them do it, but we also have to have the accountability. It is a really tricky, hard spot, and it's only going to get harder in the next couple of years.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone, community. Thank you, Councilmember Frumin. As you can see, we really wanted you to come over to Anacostia, the Great Ward AA. We hope that this is not the only time we can engage. We can have some follow-up conversation. I'm really glad to hear what you said about workforce development. And UDC has told us over and over that the issue to workforce entry is actually illiteracy. Adult illiteracy is their biggest issue of getting people in. Besides the workforce development, not having an ecosystem, not being coordinated, some of these programs don't connect people to jobs, like even getting them in there is illiteracy. And we have 50% adult illiteracy. So like, as you said, it's cyclical, but if we don't use this opportunity now to focus on the literacy that needs for the workforce development, so you don't have to have poverty jobs, and you can actually experience a thriving life, we're going to be having the same conversation in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, etc. So we hope that we can reach out and schedule a follow-up maybe like after the budget's over and see what conversation can go and maybe get DMPAD there to engage.
All right. Well, 100%. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm gonna call it a night and try to nurse this cold because I have the DHS government witness hearing tomorrow morning that's going to go for a long time. But thank you very much for including me. I represent Ward 3, and so I hear from lots of different people all the time. It is helpful to me to hear the voices of Ward 8 in a setting like this come across as strong as you do. It isn't that I never see you. I see you. I engage. I'm there. But this is, in a certain way, very, very helpful to me. So thank you very much for including me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right, folks. Thank you. We're going to go over a little bit. Actually, I never end at 9 anymore. 8. It's just so much fun with 8. We did have Commander Hicks join us while we were talking with the councilman. So we're going to invite Commander Hicks up. If you have your questions, I ask you to keep them to 45 seconds or less. All right, give you a 5-second grace period so that we can get to our last few presenters and try to get out by 9:30. Commander Hicks.
Good morning, Jerron Hickman, the commander of the 6th District. I'm here to talk about just 6D crime. I have reference to 8A. As you guys know, that 8A is a unique ANC, as half of it is in 7D and half of it is in 6D. So what you may see on the DC crime cards or what we put out for the ANC is not reflective of the 6D side because our department combines both districts that are actually in 8A. So I'm going to go over just the 8A side that's in 6D. So just overall violent crime, we're down 3 less violent crimes this year as the same point last year. So this year we have 10 assault and dangerous weapons in 8A on the 6D side as compared to 11 last year at this point. 6 robberies as compared to the same last year. As far as burglaries, we have 6 burglaries this year as far as compared to 9 last year. Motor vehicle thefts, there's 17 in the ANC on the 6D side as compared to 33 at the same point last year. 10 theft from autos as compared to 13 at the same point last year. The only crime we're really up in the ward is theft, which year to date, there's 26 in the ward on the 60 sides compared to 22 at the same point last year. When it comes to arrests, I usually don't talk about arrests, but I know in 8A, usually along in that Fairlawn community along that Minnesota Avenue corridor, we have been increasing our presence and we have been making more arrests, especially drug-related arrests. So arrests on the 6D side of 8A, we have 205 as compared to 116 at the same point last year. I did throw in the chat the citywide 7D, 6D citywide. Domestic violence is a driver of our violent crime, mainly our assault with a dangerous weapon incidents. Domestic violence report account for approximately a third, about 38% exactly, of our assault with a dangerous weapons. And assault with a dangerous weapon is the one of the most serious crimes you can get to basically under assault with intent to kill and murder. So assault with a dangerous weapon is a very serious felony in DC code, and 38% of those this year to date are domestic violence related as compared to 22% last year. So we actually one incident that we've been tracking closely is felony strangulation, which is a law that is probably about 2 or 3 years old for DC. Uh, in 6D as a whole, felony strangulation, we're actually up 78%, and all of those are domestic. So about 99% of our felony strangulation cases are domestic violence in nature. So, but we're up 78% in felony strangulation cases. So we are doing a big um, community push in reference to domestic violence. I do have a team of officers that what they do on a daily basis is we have an incident. It's not a crime, but it's basically called family disturbance. Basically, that means the police come to your house. 911 is called. Police come to your house. We come. We make the conclusion that no crime has been committed. However, we have made a conclusion that the incident that brought us there is uh, family or DV in nature. So we'll take a report. And we've been tracking down those reports, and we've been following with all those reporting parties, see if they need additional services from the city in reference to domestic violence. We've made successful contact with numerous families after these incidents and reports, and we go back to locations where we got numerous 911 calls for domestic violence incidents. So we've been making great contact with those families, see if they need outreach. A lot of families do report that the other party that they had the disagreement with is no longer in the house. Other people report that those relationships have been mended. So we're still working that. We're running that initiative till mid-June. And then we're going to just reassess it and see if we need to take it through the end of the year or stop it at June. That's my presentation, and I'll open myself up for any questions.
Thanks, Commander Hickman. We'll go to commissioners. If anyone in the chat has any questions, excuse me, anyone in the audience, please raise your hand and put those in the chat. Donohue, then Foreman, then David.
Commander Hickman, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I know we've communicated a couple times throughout the week. I just had a question. Now that we're getting warmer weather, we've got folks along the 2200 block again of Minnesota Avenue hanging out. I know there's been a significant increase of open container. I'm just really starting to get a little concerned that we need to, be alert and aware of what's not saying that you're not, but there was one day that I rode by on a bike, and there was a bunch of people out with open containers, and it just reminded me of the issues that we had last year with the same thing, especially at time of kids getting out of school. We do have the 15-minute parking that I have encouraged us to enforce, and to sort of keep people moving, especially during the time of kids getting out. However, parking enforcement won't do anything unless it's unless MPD is with them. So if you could help us kind of come up with a plan to sort of kind of help keep that traffic moving along that corridor right in front of Boone, especially during kids getting out of school, that would be greatly appreciated. And I just wanted to applaud the team for we had a man with a gun that sounded like it got a little testy, and everyone, there was a huge presence of federal and local agents who responded to it. Probably the biggest I've ever seen, but just wanted to congratulate you guys for getting another gun off the streets, and everyone was safe. So that's all I have. But if you could help us come up with a plan to try to keep that traffic moving along 2200 Minnesota, that would be great. Oh, and somebody else asked in the in the chat about Guido on top of the bridge. If you could give us an update on that.
Yes. So to your first point, yeah, we're going to try our best to keep moving that traffic along. It is a challenge for us as well because it's based on the officer availability and stuff like that. I do have a traffic unit. That and my crowd suppression team, that 2200 block of Minnesota Avenue is on our to-do list every day. We did make an arrest there the other day, and actually the sad part of that arrest is that person we arrested was actually a DC government employee, which is crazy. He also had a substantial amount of narcotics on him and a large amount of cash. So we're hoping that investigations lead us somewhere else that can help us down there. But that was a good hit for us, and we'll keep up the work down there, and we'll try to get on top of that traffic issue for you. As far as Guido, Guido is the gift that keeps on giving, only because Guido last did that in 2022. I was actually there. I was at the special, I wasn't at 60 yet, but I was at the special operation division, which runs those type of operations. We have people on the bridge. So I was out there for hours on end with the negotiators dealing with Guido. What helped us in 2022 is that we got there in 2022. It was hot, and he couldn't take it no more with the weather. The weather's more forgiving now. He learned from last time. He had a tent. What I would say is that when that happened in 2022, we got some assurances from the government that they will put some measures for that won't happen again. Obviously, after we got Guido down in 2022, we went back and the measures weren't put in place, and obviously the measures still not put in place. Not saying no, not saying Guido won't try it again, but my fear is that Guido will inspire other people to do stuff like that, and it's going to be a tragic accident. What we found out from doing that in 2022 is there is no safe way if somebody were to fall off that bridge to come out that alive. I say that because our our SWAT team, we have an airbag like you see in the movies, but that bridge is very high up, and the closest we couldn't even get it on the sidewalk. So if you were to fall off that arch, even fall onto the airbag, it's like hitting concrete if you would hit the airbag. And then naturally, if you fall from the water from that distance, it's also like hitting concrete. So what I don't want Guido to do is inspire other people to do nonsense like that.
Well, and we're supposed to have bad, rain tomorrow, so that's got to become slippery up there.
Correct. The best thing about that is, and Guido knows this, and I don't think anybody here going to be inspired to climb up there. So I can say this, I can say this, but there's a hatch on top of that arch that you can open up and seek refuge, and Guido knows that. So he last time he climbed up the side, but there's a hatch up there that's not locked that you can seek refuge inside, and you can actually climb down the arch to the ground if you want to from the inside. So, like I said, I hope he comes down. Like I said, last time he was up there for a little over a day. We're working on 4 or 5 days right now. He has support. We believe he's run out of food, but I just think, I think I don't want him to inspire other people to do nonsense like that.
Thank you, Commander. I kind of want to send Guido some food with a drone, but just
no,
about inspiring people to do things.
We're not going to let that happen.
But it's a peaceful protest.
Right?
I'm coming down with my bullhorn.
Davis and Foreman, because we got a couple more speakers and we are committed to getting out by 9:30.
Who's next?
You, and then
Foreman. Okay. Okay, Commander Hickman, thank you for joining. I just had one question about the camera that's placed down at the park. And I don't think that it is really it's serving its purpose down there because all the drug activity is taking place in the parking lot and down the other end. And with all the trees, the camera can't possibly see, as well as the CCTV that they put down there on Nicholson Street. It can't see up the street.
Okay.
So they're in the wrong places.
All right, I'll get with the so we do so a part of this with those putting those cameras up, especially the ones up on the poles. Our technical services bureau is supposed to look at the foliage and trim that, or get with DPW to trim that back. So I had them just do a line of sight on that one, see what's blocking it, and then the trailer camera, we can move that. So when we do that community walk, because we scheduled to meet with you this week on a walk, right? We'll take a look at that camera and we'll do a good line of sight so we can put the trailer somewhere else.
Okay, and the the CCTV, it's no way to trim those trees back because those are full mature trees. And unless you're just going to butcher them, you can't.
How about the branch? Can we think we can knock back some of the branches?
No, you can't. No, you
Okay.
can't. It's just not central. It's not strategically located.
All right. I have them do a line of sight because they're supposed to do a line of sight on those before you put them up. So I have them do a line of sight on that one too.
Okay, well, it will benefit the school greatly if we could put it down there and protecting the students and the business corridor. It's down
Okay.
that end. And you also have another one that's over there beside the post office. So you have one already in that general vicinity where all the stuff is taking place by the car wash.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
need that one to go down closer to the business district. I mean, actually in that business corridor, and it could cover the school as well as the business corridor where all the drug activities actually happening.
Okay.
And
We'll
if you
do-
did that, then that camera that's at the park would be located properly.
Okay.
But considering the fact where the CCTV camera is, it's not helping us any.
All right. No problem.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioner Foreman, any questions for MPD tonight?
Yes, how you doing, Commander?
How are you, sir?
I'm outstanding. Hey, we got a couple of things too up here. I got the school kids, Anacostia High School,
Yes.
and I was wondering, are you able to put bike riding or walking officers up this way? Because this is the thing, the kids, I know they're being kids, but the thing is they're out during the daytime when they should be in school.
Mhm.
And they're in folks' backyards, their fences, cars, and they're getting high. No doubt about it, getting high. Are you able to get more officers out here or cadets, stuff like that, to engage them?
So we don't use cadets for that because they're not
Mhm.
sworn law enforcement officers. So we don't use cadets for that. That's a law enforcement function. Usually we do have safe passage near Anacostia with our school resource officers and some 60 officers. But I think you're talking about I guess during the time when they're not doing arrival and dismissal. We can increase our footprint down there. The only thing is for that PSA, which also includes 20 block of Minnesota, only have so many officers. But now that you bring to my attention on those off peak hours where they're not doing arrival and dismissals, we can give it a little more attention with some officers down there. We can bring an officer, have them shift down more towards Anacostia and just do some curfew enforcement.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I've had a few officers who not that fond of engaging.
Correct.
Okay, of engaging the kids, and I've had little things with them. I mean, I know you have the training sessions and stuff like that. A lot of them don't even know what we are. They have no idea what the ANC commissioner is.
Well, to be honest, that's the first time I hear about an ANC commissioner is when I tell them in roll call what that means. That's not part of our training curriculum for some odd reason. Most officers don't know I guess the political side of public service. So most officers, unless we have them come to a meeting or I tell them in roll call or they do a community walk, a lot of them don't know what an ANC commissioner is because that's not really that's not part of the curriculum in the academy for some odd reason.
Yeah, all right. Another thing is, they say the cameras. I know the cameras cost. What's the basic value of those CCTV cameras?
Say again?
What's the basic cost of those CCTV cameras? Like what?
The ones we have or personal ones, this one you may buy?
No, the one that you all have on the posts and stuff like that.
I don't know the cost. I do. All I know is they send us an email, say we have like X amount of grant for X amount of cameras, but I don't know the unit cost for each camera.
Okay. And other thing, this summer, are y'all going to address aggressive driving? Because we have a lot of aggressive drivers here, a lot of speed and things. That was one other thing I thought about. I know folks like to go fast. I like to go fast myself. I'm a car guy too. No, most people think I drive Miss Daisy, but I like to go fast. And the thing is, what can we do about that? Because man, Minnesota Avenue is a perfect drag strip.
Yeah, if you send me send me some locations. I'll put my email in the chat. Send me some locations. I do have a traffic unit. It's a very small unit. And they focus on the surface streets. There's also a traffic unit at the department at the city level that focus more on the highway. I know on the Ward 8 side, well, Ward 8, Ward 7, if you, many of you guys notice, Pennsylvania Avenue, I mean 295 and Pennsylvania Avenue, getting up where people ride the shoulder. They do enforcement there all the time on Pennsylvania Avenue going, I'm sorry, on 295 going northbound at Pennsylvania Avenue. And
Mhm.
the citywide traffic unit does that, and there's been some great success there. I'm not seeing as much as I used to, but if you got any areas far as traffic wise that you need some people to look into, I can get my traffic unit on top of it. They have a good supervisor. He actually runs my traffic unit, my environmental crimes unit, and my business corridor team. So he's very responsive. You send me those locations, I get it to him. My traffic unit is actually split in time with the DC Safe and Beautiful Task Force, so I don't have them available to me as much as I used to. However, you give me some locations, they'll definitely hit them.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
And
you,
last
Commissioner.
thing, one other thing.
Okay, one other thing. 'cause we
Okay.
got it going.
Prostitution.
Mhm.
What are you doing to deal with the prostitution? Are we running these like stings or something like that? You know,
So we did.
I've seen in other states and other places I've been, you know, hey man, they get the Johns, right? Put them out
Yes.
there, let everybody in the community know who you are, where you've been, what you're doing.
So we did that early in the year, and what I would say is MPD has been out of the prostitution operations for years. So we did one early in the year in the 1800 block of Minnesota Avenue, and that's the first time MPD did something like that at least a couple years. Something sustainable at least going on 10 years. So MPD just getting back into that. We used to have a prostitution unit at MPD. We don't have that anymore. So basically, when we did it earlier part of the year. We got one unit that's centralized with MPD. Just got a few officers. They put an operation together. They do want to do it more. It is focused on the Johns. We don't focus on the sex workers, so we do focus on the Johns. It'd be a typical, you know, we're out there and waiting for the John to make some type of illegal deal for some type of exchange for sex, and then we'll place them under arrest. And usually, none of those people are getting held in court, but usually they come with some type of stay away from, the area they got arrested in. And what I did have found in my career doing some of those operations, I think we lock up the Johns, the embarrassment goes a long way. So,
Yes.
but they do. We are planning on doing again another one. They do want to do it again in a 800 block of Minnesota because it was very successful. We did it early in the year, so that is on our schedule to do again.
Right. Yeah, because it's I'm sorry, Julia. What was I saying? Yeah, it's a safety situation with the females, and not just the females now. Not even the males have to worry about
I think
that type of situation.
And maybe this like warrants a separate conversation just on sex work, because we know it's tied into every other thing we've been talking about tonight, right?
Yes.
Let's
be
honest. Like, my grandma used to say prostitution, the oldest occupation in the Bible, first occupation. All right, thank you, everyone. I want to move on. We're going to call Ryan Walker up and then Sage, and then do it, and then we're going to close out the meeting with updates from our council member's office. Quentin and Sheila, can you let us know how much more you all can be with us, Quentin, Sheila, and Fernando, so we can move you all in before we're over? Just let me know in the chat. Okay, so Ryan.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for letting us join you. My name is Ryan Walker. I am the DGS project manager for the Ketchum Elementary School modernization that is ongoing in design right now, with construction starting this summer and ending in 2028. I'm joined here alongside DC Public Schools, Mervyn Augustine, as well as our design build partners, DLR Group and Kiramonte Construction. So without further ado, I will turn it over to, I think Camilo, you said you were going to present, or Alex. One of them will share their screen. We'll give you a quick, I know we're here late, so give you a kind of short and sweet update of where we are in the project, where we are in design, and kind of what you can expect to see over at Ketchum Elementary School the next 2 years. So Camilo, all you. Camilo, we cannot hear you, or I can't, maybe. Might just be me. Oh. I see your voice going, Camilo. I don't hear anything, though.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there we go.
There we go. I'm so sorry about that. Alex, why don't you go ahead and advance to the next slide? We're really happy to be here, commissioners, and looking forward to sharing this special project where we're at. We do have a few slides to go through, so we'll go through at a good pace, but we'll try not to shortchange any of the information or the excitement about the project. In general, our North Star has been the school, the vision of the school, and the vision of DCPS, putting students at the center of learning and keeping making the environment safe and joyful. Our team, along with working closely with DGS and DC Public Schools, includes Chiaramonte Construction Company and ourselves from DLR Group, and a lot of participation with the school improvement team from Ketchum Elementary. Next slide, please. Just a quick overview. You know where Ketchum is, on the corner of 15th Street Southeast and Marionberry Ave Southeast. You see that outlined here in the site plan to the left, and on the right, just an area plan of the historic district. And you can see that L-shaped site in red. Next slide, please. The overview here is that there is a cluster of historic buildings which are outlined in blue. And the primary building being the 1908 structure, which were added on 1940 on the sides and on the back, the multi-purpose room. After that, subsequently in the early 70s, you'll see that there is a larger addition towards the back. That one no longer meets the DCPS educational specifications, so it's intended to be removed so that we can modernize the entire building and bring all spaces up to the ed spec standards. Next slide. So this is a view of the proposed new modernization. Outlined in black in the front, you'll see the shape of the original 1908 and 1940s building, and those buildings are flanked in the back with new academic classroom additions. And in the far back, towards the upper left, is a gymnasium and a new dining complex addition, really the gathering heart of the school. Next slide, please. This is the site plan, and again, you'll see Marionberry Ave on the top and 15th Street on the right, with the historic school labeled and the addition says Ketchum Elementary School. Anything in white touching the historic school is the addition. Of interest in this site plan, of course, is the rec center to the south. There is a parking lot to just off of U Street and 15th and U Street. That is there so that there are places for visitors and for parents dropping off students in strollers to the CDC, the Child Development Center. Also, you'll notice that on the left, on the other side of the site, there's another parking service zone that is entered from U Street. And it's important that those two vehicular entrances don't connect through the site, that the site itself, the heart of the site, is really for the kids to play on. Areas in pink are new and upgraded playgrounds. Areas in green are vegetated gardens and outdoor classrooms. And that kind of a snaky line with two circles on the end is a bike path that's internal to the site for movement, exercise, and learning the rules of the road on bicycles for children. Next slide. This is a view, an early conceptual view from the south. To the right of this view, you'll see the south side of the historic school, and then the addition, the classroom addition in the middle, and the dining cafeteria complex on the left. We've gotten the conceptual approval from the Commission of Fine Arts, and we've been working with the Historic Preservation Review Board and the office. And the intent, if you go to the next slide, is for the school really to pick up on the wonderful architecture that is historic and important in this historic district. And so in this view of the 15th Street facade, you can see in the center that 1908 building, but also on the left and on the right are two small additions flanking that, which extend the rhythm of those nice big classroom windows, and then the verticals of the pilasters between the windows. And also note the arch in the doorway. That's a motif that we will intend to bring to the inside, so that whether you're in the existing building, experiencing the historic architecture and the arches in the existing building, or in the new building, it'll feel like one campus, and the same experience for students in the new and in the old. Next slide, please. This is a view from Marion Barry Ave, and again, you'll see the proportions and the sizes of the windows and the cohesiveness of the color palette, so that it again feels like one building for all students. Next slide. This view is on 15th Street, and just to the left, you'll see the canopy of the Ketchum Rec Center poking into view. Thank you, Alex. What this view highlights is that even though the 1908 building has a wonderful historic door, that entrance is not accessible. And in fact, functionally, the school currently doesn't use it. They use another entrance, which is deeper in the site. And Alex, if you could point to us the canopy and the signage for what would be the functional entrance for this school. The school prefers to have the entrance off of 15th Street that allows them to have an area on site for students to gather and queue either before school and after school. It's safer, and it's sort of promoting the current functional use of the school now. Next slide, please. And a view from within the playground area, looking at the dining pavilion. We'll have a view later on from the inside, looking out through those large windows. All play spaces will be fenced in, as will the perimeter of the campus. So there are multiple layers of security for the students. Next slide, please. This is the view from the corner of Marion Barry Ave and 15th Street. Again, just showing how all of these different parts and pieces, different vintages from 1908 to 1940 and now to the late 2000s will all blend together in what we're calling a celebration of modern heritage. Next slide. As we take a look inside, this happens to be inside, passing the security vestibule into the main hub, where just behind us are the dining room and the gym. But this view highlights how the intent is to pull in some of those architectural curves, the arches, and make sure that the new part of the building is harmonious with the existing historic structure. Next slide, please. The dining space is a quick view of the dining space. Will be nice and large, nice volume, so that it can be used not only for dining, but for after school and for community meetings and presentations. This will be a space that has a tall ceiling, and again, you see the view to the outside and the fenced-in play areas on the outside. Next slide. Lastly, on the inside, we'd like to highlight that in addition to the classrooms, which Ketchum has now, this updated modernization building will include spaces in the current ed spec for collaboration outside of the classroom, small and medium-sized group activity areas, tutoring spaces, and these are the kinds of spaces that are included in contemporary learning places. And it's something that the current school doesn't have. But as we upgraded to the current educational specifications, I think there'll be much more opportunities for students to sort of follow their own learning needs. Next slide. And lastly, the overall schedule looks at starting to remove the 1971 building at the end of, towards the end of this year in the fall, with the construction starting in 2027 of new. And then you see the intent is to finish not both the exterior interior finishes and the landscaping, so that the school is ready to be reoccupied by the fall of 2028. So with that, I'll hand it back over to either Ryan or to
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for that presentation. We have a couple of comments in the chat that maybe you can answer. I think my main question, this is in my single member district, is what's going to happen to the student? Like, is construction going to be happening during daytime hours while they're in school? And if not, it's going to be having nighttime hours and people getting off of work. I think this actually should warrant its own kind of community town hall, but also wanting to hear from the parents. So I thank you for coming to us tonight early, right? Coming to us early. I think these are some of the more detailed questions that might just deserve its own town hall about this project.
Yeah, of course. I can touch on that if you don't mind. So the students at Ketchum and the staff right now, they're going to DC Prep, the existing DC Prep school right now, which I believe is on V Street, like a block and a half away from.
They're going to the corner. Okay.
Yep. So they're going there. We're moving them out mid-July. They'll be there for 2 years. We're outfitting that to be a full, education space for them. So have all the same amenities they currently have now: play spaces, gymnasium, cafeteria. And then we'll bring them back summer of 2028 to move into their new school. So we'll have the construction hours will be the typical 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. The DOB hours that they allow us to work on Monday through Friday. And there won't be any students, teachers, or staff on site during the construction time. They'll all be at the
all of Ketchum will be moved to DC Prep.
That is correct. The whole school, every single piece of furniture, every box and staff member and student in there will be moved to DC Prep mid-July. And that's what they'll do their next 2 years of school.
That's good to know because we were having some issues. Is Jared on the call? I don't know if you're on the call, Jared. We were having some issues with DC Prep. So thank you for letting us know that's how that's going to be.
Of course. And then to touch on super quick that town hall, we will have a construction kickoff meeting with a mix of our school improvement team, and I believe the ANC gets invited to that. I believe Shanada can maybe touch on that a little bit more via email after, but that'll be in the fall. Once we mobilize on site, we'll share kind of, when we're working, where we're working. This sidewalk may be closed for a couple days for a utility tie and all that. So we do become very vocal with the community, and on our fence wrapping that you see around other district project sites, there'll be QR codes that will lead you right to the district of the DCPS's website, where you'll be able to get constant construction updates of what's coming up next, current progress pictures, and contact information for DCPS as well as myself, where you can ask any questions during the course of construction.
Okay, very good to hear. Well, thank you all. Do we have any other questions from commissioners? We know that there is going to be a town hall. I had no idea Ketchum was being moved. That sounds like, what? Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you, Ryan. Please keep us updated, maybe once a quarter, coming to the commission and giving us updates or every 6 months.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys having us. We're looking forward to bringing a great new school to Ward 8.
Yeah, thank you. Is it going to increase occupancy or no? Sorry.
The projected enrollment right now for the school we're building is around 250 students, and I believe they're on the low 200 number right now. So yes, it will increase occupancy. Is the plan. We're building it to increase occupancy, and then the enrollment should follow with the new school.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay, well,
thank you,
keep
everyone.
it moving. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Better that drop off on B Street. When we were having issues with DC Prep, so we'll definitely need to talk to DDOT and catch them. I did reach out to Principal White, Greta, and asked if she could come to our June meeting. Okay, let's go on to W Street. Do we? Oh, I think I said Sage first. I'm sorry, Sage. Are you here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay,
good evening.
Please your presentation brief like we instructed in the email.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening. My name is John Sage. I am part of the project team with Marcel Clark, the owner, and May League, my colleague. I'm going to let Marcel kick us off, and then I'll jump back in a second.
Well, we definitely want to thank the ANC for having us tonight. This has been a very interesting listen at a minimum. I love hearing about communities that we plan on building in. As John mentioned, I am the CEO of Millennium Strategic Investments. We have done a lot of work around the DMV. This particular project is the Clark and Anacostia. It is a 12-unit ground up real estate development project, 10,000 square feet total, with a great mix of 3, 2, and 1 bedroom units. We absolutely believe that it will enhance the landscape
on Marion-Barry Avenue, and we also are confident that it will contribute to the much needed residential resources that are required in this community. So with little ado, I'll let John walk you guys through the project.
Okay, great. I'll run us through our kind of a site context and initial thinking, and then I'll let May, my colleague, take over for some of the more fun stuff. Here we're looking at the project site from a couple different angles. Our block is in red. We're talking about two lots, 1223 and 1225 Marion-Barry Avenue Southeast. They're mid-block, a couple doors down from the Anacostia Art Center. Here's some site photos. The Art Center. Here's 13th Street and Marion-Barry. The new MLK1 corner at Marion-Barry and MLK. Number 2 across the street, and then another mid-block existing building. Zooming in here, this is just the existing site survey. Marion-Barry Avenue is here to the right-hand side, and what you're seeing in green is the existing 1225, I believe it is, the Jazzies, the 2-story brick structure. And then the adjacent 1-story, where there was a gas explosion, and has substantially been removed at this point and fundamentally an empty lot. The green line that we're seeing here represents the kind of existing construction that we are salvaging. The red line is the wall that's being removed. And so we'll be doing what is an addition and renovation technically. We are salvaging the main facade of Jazzy's and the side walls, and then we will be building across both lots. There is an existing easement on what is the west side of the site and around the back. It's a 9 feet here and 14-foot 6. We'll be maintaining that. So the 2-story building here that has windows facing our yard will not be impacted. So that building, those windows at risk, for instance, they have them all along this easement here, will remain untouched. Here's just a few photographs of the existing conditions. Again, Jazzy's front facade. So we'll be repairing this, replacing parts of it where it needs to be replaced, toothing in a lot of new brick, pulling off the awnings and putting back the storefront, and cleaning a lot of the existing detail that's there and repairing it. This photograph here, you can see some of the damage that's occurred, and this brick wall, for instance, will be primarily removed, but you can see the front wall where we'll have to repair that corner as part of the work. A quick look at the zoning data. We are looking at the 2 lots combined. The density that's allowed, we're not really coming near it. We're 80% occupancy is allowed. We're at 72. There's a 4.8 FAR. We're at about 2.0. There's a 65-foot height limit, and we're at 35. So we're doing our best to, be conscious of our surrounding neighbors and the historic district design guidelines of not building more than a story above any adjacent property.
John, can you clarify? John, can you clarify? Are you adding a story or not? We all know the property.
Yeah, sure. Yes, we will be adding it. Let me go to the next slide. We will be adding. Here's our property, and so this blue box represents a 2-story, matching the existing condition, and then a setback that matches what it was at the corner and also approved at the Art Center. And then we do have a third story proposed from that setback towards the back.
Is that third story going to be higher than the art center, or is it going to be lower or on par?
It will not. I can actually jump ahead real quick. We actually have a drawing showing. So this is a building section through our building if we were looking towards the art center. And so this red outline is what was proposed and approved by HPRB for the art center. This longer line is the top of what would be their third floor, and then this wedding cake on top is their penthouse.
Okay, you mean the proposed art center redesign?
The proposed art center, correct.
You know they're not going to build up as much anymore, but we can talk about that later.
Sure.
Okay, can we kind of stick here with the designs and what you're trying to do because we're coming short on time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will switch over to our main rendering, and May, I'll let you take it from here.
Sure. As John mentioned, we are keeping the historic facade, and we're going to be repairing the bricks. And then because of the damage from the explosion, it's best to paint that brick. And then we have a nice look. And the building next to ours is also painted brick. We're going to have all new storefronts that we're going to keep the proportions of the storefront. And then we have new cornice detail over the storefront. And then we have a brick portion that's going to be new construction here. And we're looking at we've kept the proportions of what the historic building looks like on the second level, as well as on the first level with the glass. We have a aluminum canopy kind of wrapping the corner. And then as you can see, there's that addition, that other story above that. And what John mentioned was that the art center addition on top, it's going to be taller than this one because their floor to floors are higher for that use group. For a residential building, our floor to floors are lower. So even if they are building one more story above, their addition will still be taller than what we're showing. And then we have a gate for that easement. So there's going to be access for an internal trash room in there, as well as we have some garden units so people can access it from there. But the main entrance will be primarily on the street frontage, right in the center portion. And if you can go to the next slide, you can see what this looks like if you're looking down the street from both sides in a minute. So this is the side elevation, which will not really be perceived because this is the easement sort of elevation, but we're carrying that brick color theme all the way through. And the main portion of the building is going to be constructed out of EFIS. The window rhythms are fairly straightforward. And next slide, please. So the image, yes.
About parking, because you said the main entrance is going to be on the street.
Yes, the main entrance will be on the street. I'm sorry. John, can you talk a little bit about the parking requirement on the site?
And I understand they may not all make you do any, but are you going to offer parking?
We currently do not have parking planned for the site.
4 to 12, because right there, it's some of that is no parking, and if the main entrance is from the street, then people probably will block the bus access because they're going to park there anyway. If you have to access it, so
we've noticed that bus stop is directly in front of our front door.
And people are going to stop there and block the bus, and then it's going to be issues with you all not having any type of off-street. For sake of time, when is your HP Historic Preservation Review Board hearing?
May 28th.
May 28th. Okay. And you're looking for ANC support with this design?
Yes.
Okay, so the single member district commissioner had a family emergency and is not here. That's Commissioner McKinney. I do think we should have another fuller reading on this because bringing, like, besides parking being an issue, there is, oh, Tom, you said I'm too far. Besides parking being an issue, I think there's a couple other things we want to talk through, but I'm glad to see you all are coming back after the fire. Is the daycare coming back?
No.
No,
It's all residential.
Else?
Yeah,
except for the market, right? The market is going to be there, and then the rest residential, or the market's not coming back either.
No, this is a fully residential project.
Oh, so the market's nobody's coming back.
Nobody's coming back. Yeah, all of them, they relocated. They just decided not to come back. So that's exactly how we were actually fortunate enough to even purchase the lots. They just decided that they were just going to move on. So when we came up with the design, we were thinking, okay, well, residential matters the most. And I know you did touch on parking, which is a really, really good, a really prevalent issue that we're aware of. Is when we did this design, we took a couple of things in mind, which is obviously it's Anacostia, so you guys know that you have a lot of public transportation, you have the metro, you have a lot of ride shares, and we were in our analysis, our understanding was that the parking that will be if a multi-unit like this attracts tenants that will require parking, the impact would be minimal because of the fact that they're not going to be utilizing parking during like commercial hours since it's a residential project. But again, we're very aware of the parking issue. And then lastly, obviously, this is Washington, D.C., so you do understand that 65% of the occupants in your city, they don't even own vehicles, right? But again, but we're aware of the parking issue, and we're trying our best to see, what other resources will be available to potential tenants to ensure that need is met. But like as we've been listening to during this whole meeting, residential living is incredibly important in that space, and I think that's the unique thing that we offer because everything around it is commercial. So the fact that we're going to be bringing like it's not affordable housing, but market level housing that's high end or mid range housing, we just feel like that's actually a really good offer.
And also,
it's in front. There's like the businesses was on earlier, and they did talk about because it is in a business district. My issue is that you're residential right in front of a bus stop, and that bus stop is going to get blocked. And the bus stop already gets blocked now. So if I'm taking an Uber home, if I'm doing this, because at the end of the day, while it says, yes, cars aren't needed, we don't have amenities here. So people still have to go to Maryland and Virginia to access places. So I just think we'll come back to you because the single member district commissioner is not here tonight and she did want to talk to you all directly, but we wanted to hear some initial design.
Yes, and we had a couple meetings with HABA as well as HAPS and HPO. The parking has been raised, and we will, and that is something that we are very passionate about and want to make sure that we can talk to neighboring lots and we can find a solution for the parking requirement. And the parking requirement for this building would be 3 spots that would be required.
But 3 spots.
It's 3 spots that's all. It wouldn't be 12 spots that we're looking for necessarily. John, you can talk more about the zoning requirements, but we're able to find clever solutions, and we definitely want to continue to have the conversation.
Are you looking for an exemption so you don't have to offer those 3 parking too?
We are utilizing the exemption within the historic district. If 3 spaces or less within a historic district, you're allowed to not provide parking.
Okay, because like I'm just saying, like right there, that street is already problematic, right? And a lot of issues, and having nowhere for a drop off or with the main entrance being on the street, I think you all should look at the design and see if you could have some type of drop off somewhere, maybe in the back. I don't know if you have any space in the back at all, or anything, but that's going to be
Yeah, it's tricky because unfortunately you can see this curb cut, which even if we were entering in that curb cut, I don't think it would be solving the conflict with the bus, and we don't have any rear alley access. That's why the easement is there. And so it's a tricky site because we're landlocked at the back.
There's
Yeah,
no
and that's
retail at the bottom. Excuse me. There's going to
No.
be no retail at the bottom, correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
But this is the arts and cultural district that we're putting residential in with no retail at the bottom in the arts and cultural district.
Again, we're aware of where we are located. At the same time, it's just been our experts and our realtors are basically gave us guidance in that area, and the conclusion was that the commercial space that does exist in Anacostia right now isn't fully occupied. So you have high vacancy rates in commercial, specifically in that area. So we just didn't feel like it would be prudent for this particular footprint, and it's pretty small anyway. So it's not like we would have been able to put like a large commercial entity in there, right? So it's incredibly small. So we just decided that to utilize that space and make sure that the building is attractive, so the community can get attractive tenants. Then we're going to be utilizing that space a little bit differently. You know, a mail room, a bike room, all the amenities that come with these buildings these days. We just felt like that would be the best use of the space.
Yeah.
And one more question. As far as the height requirement, you are not building at your max capacity as far as height, correct?
Not even close.
But you have that option if you chose to make it higher.
And actually, because parking, and this goes to Commissioner White's parking issue, right? We could have placed a parking space underneath the building, but it would have taken us up 4 stories. And this optically, it wasn't attractive.
Underground parking.
So it's kind of like what John said, like we're really trying to make sure that we present a resolution to parking, and we do not want to make a bad situation worse at any point in time. So obviously we're open to resolution. It's just that, yeah, there are height requirements. We're well within those height requirements, but it's kind of like a give and take.
Marcel, sorry to interrupt you. We're gonna table this, like I said, because the single member district commissioner isn't here, but it's not even just the parking, like drop-offs, pickups, deliveries, like it's nothing right there, right? That's a bus station, a bus stop, and then it's nothing. Like, and then if you live there, if you're differently able, if you have a wheelchair, if you have a kid with a stroller, all of this stuff, it's just, something that needs to be talked about. Okay, thanks so much. I think we have one last update.
I'm sorry, could I ask just one question before we move on? In regard to looping back around with our SMD, what should we expect?
You'll get an email from us, and we'll do it before your hearing date.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you for your time.
Correct. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so I think we just have one more. Is Commissioner Moore still here? Commissioner Moore, you have the W Street people.
Yeah, they've chimed in the chat a couple different times.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. This is Yosef Asmallah. Sorry, guys. Thank you.
Go ahead, Yusuf. And then we'll go to Quentin, and then Councilmember White's office will make some votes, and we'll be out. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. And I know it's been long, but I did learn a lot. So I'm glad I joined you guys. I'm Yosef Asmalash, the owner of Mary LLC, which I acquired. I bought the property a year and a half ago. It was kind of had a fire damage, and it was a 2-lot tax lot when I bought it. And then we put the permit to DC, and while we did that, at the same time we did the subdivision as well. So when we did the subdivision, we got a permit for 2 lots with its own address as well, the second lot. But zoning came back saying that, there is a variances issue on one of them, and you need to get an exception So that's the reason I'm here, but I'm trying. So I got the permit for the main one. I finished the project. It looks beautiful and nice. And now we want to build the other townhouse next within next to it, which is I got it. It is a tax lot as well, subdivided, and it has a new address. But I think from architecture perspective, Dawit Zena is here, the engineer Dawit will explain it a little bit further. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Do you already own something in Anacostia?
I do.
I thought so. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not in Anacostia. I own I'm sorry, in Congress Heights.
Oh, in Congress Heights. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Who's flipping through the slides?
My
That's
engineer,
me.
yeah.
Down. We've shared all this information with you.
I didn't see these. I saw
Okay.
describing.
I think we've emailed it to you and to
Okay, just explain
Miss
what you're
Jamila White.
right now.
I'm sorry.
So you could share. You could share what you can explain what you're sharing right now.
Okay. Yes. As Joseph mentioned, he bought this property that was damaged by fire, and the property had 2 tax lots, and we needed to convert it into recorded lots. So he did the subdivision and got it all approved. So his idea was to convert what is right now shown as a garage. Let me share some color photographs. You see where the garage door is. It has an apartment above it, just a bedroom. So he was gonna do an addition to the back and convert this property into a 4-bedroom apartment, 4-bedroom row house. This just shows what the existing condition was prior to our application with DOB. Basically, it also shows what the neighborhood looks like. There isn't such a major change to the facade. It is really trying to build on 2 tax lots, 2 units. So once we applied to the DOB, this shows what the existing conditions are. He was going to do this addition in the back. We'll add kitchen and 2 bedrooms. This is on lot number, on property at 1756. DOB told us we can't do any work because it doesn't comply with the zoning requirements, but we could ask for variances. Our main point is that the property line, as you can see here, the width of the property needs to be 20 feet. But all the properties adjacent to it have about 17.5 or 17.2 feet front width. So they said, yeah, this is a historic property. If you go through the exception process or the variance process, and the BZA approves it, you can do any construction work. In fact, they would not approve any of the renovation work that he was going to do. It was through an exception process that they allowed him to actually repair the fire damage and make it an occupiable space. So he has already done the renovation work and put this house as an occupied space. Just to show you, that's what we called as phase one. We just did the work on 1756. So if we were to go to 1754, this is the existing condition. It shows the garage. There is no space in the basement. And above it, there is a bedroom, basically like an apartment above a garage. This is what shows the existing conditions, the garage door and the window, the French door above. What is being proposed is to do a bedroom in the back, and on the first level, a kitchen and an office. And basically will create about a 4-bedroom apartment there, a row house there. This is what the front would look like. These are very conceptual. That's why we didn't develop it further, but we wanted to show you what the future intent is. This is a phase 2 that Joseph intends to build.
Okay,
We will be adding.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to hold that. We could speak about more of this offline. I actually live directly across the street, so I've
Yes.
seen you guys out there. However, I do want to bring more community, most especially next to you. There's an 80-year-old woman who lives there, and I do recall the road that those houses exist on are historical housing. So I want to get a better understanding of that historical value. Um, yeah, there are just a couple things. So what is the deadline and what are you asking for from me today? And how much time do we have to, because I can make myself available Friday to have this discussion and kind of walk the grounds with you and better understand the budget that you also have to see how it will impact. This is a cul-de-sac, is a one way. Once you start having different cars and different aspects of construction going on, it can be a burden on us. We've experienced just sometimes an ambulance being in the street and no one being able to move. So I would really like to get an understanding of the budget so that there's no delay once you all do start. So those are just a few things I would like to go over with you this Friday if you're available.
Yeah, I can make myself available.
Yes, I'm available. Thank you.
Right. One thing I want to add, there is an alley in the back, and we intend to put in 2 parking spots, basically 1 parking per each property,
Yeah,
for
it's
each
not too
address.
far-fetched. We have townhouses up here that are 4 bedrooms,
Right.
and everything. So it's not far-fetched. However, I just want to get a better understanding. And the best way to do that is to go out there and walk with you and to
Okay.
talk with you and to just understand what the burden would be like on and the impact on the community, next door and across the street.
Yeah, we have a busy appointment May 27th, if I'm not.
27. Okay, can I propose that we'll do both of these meetings together because you have the BCA on the 27th and they have a historic preservation board on the 28th. So we'll find a time that works and actually have a conversation after the commissioners have more time to visit the sites. Can you just let us know before we go? You're going to also have to go in front of the historic preservation board or just the BZA area?
No, we don't need to. It's not a historic, it doesn't apply the historic preservation requirements to this property.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so what variance are you asking for? Is it the property line or what?
It's the width, it needs to be 20 feet. This is the referral memo that we got. Ours is 17.41. So there is a 2.59 feet variance. But all the other lots, 6 properties, I didn't pull it up, but we have the plat for the whole community. All the properties have the same width. Basically, this adjacent properties have
Okay, I see what you're
17.41,
saying.
all of them.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get back to you. So the Commissioner Moore will reach out for that Friday conversation, and community, just know to come back, look for another meeting where we'll have just to talk about these two developments more in detail. But thank you for listening and finding it interesting. And you said before you that property that you own in Congress Heights, if you don't mind letting us know where that is. Somebody asked in the community.
It's on 3226 4th Street, Southeast DC.
Okay, 3226 4th Street, Commissioner Fuller. All right, I'm gonna turn over to Quentin and then Ms. Bunn, and then we're gonna go into some votes. The votes are gonna go in this order: Council Commissioner Davis, and then Commissioner Donohue, and then we're gonna get out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I got a few updates. Before I get into my updates on the mayor's office, I do want to let you guys know. I know you've been looking forward to the update for the mayor's walk that we did on the 12th, January 12th. So unfortunately, I did do a presentation that was due February 9th, a PowerPoint presentation that I built. But unfortunately, the mayor didn't get a chance to look at that because of the snowstorm and things that happened after that. So if you guys want the updates, I can give them to you personally from me. You can email me any updates or questions that you may have. I can update you guys with that. With that being said, the mayor, she wants MOCAs to prioritize SMD walks with these last 8 months that we're running through the tape. So you guys are first. I've made you guys the mayor's priority with that walk. So you guys will be first with the SMD walks. I actually did one with Mr. Moore Redmond. She had her walk with MPS and Michael Donato from MPS, and we were there. So that was the first one. I know Commissioner Davis is having a walk coming up that me and our new Mokers, Reggie Mathis, will attend. So if you guys want to set up a date, please reach out to me so we can do your SMD walk as soon as possible. First update, DC Small Business Week. The mayor's office and DSLBD is inviting entrepreneurs, business owners, and residents to take part in DC Small Business Week for exciting events that offer opportunities to support local businesses. You can find more information at dslbd.dc.gov/DC Small Business Week. Also, DPR summer jobs now hiring for hundreds of positions to support summer programming. Residents are encouraged to visit earnwithdpr.com. You can find all the positions and pay on earnwithdpr.com. DPR Senior Fest is May 20th from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Gateway Pavilion, and that's 2700 MLK Junior Avenue. That's the DPR Senior Fest with DACL and other partners there. Also, Burry Farms Redevelopment Project community meeting is May 13th at 6 p.m. And that is at the Grow Center on 1200 Sumner Road. So I will be there. I know that is in this ANC. So all you guys are welcome. That'll be with Demped and Poet. DPW Special Waste Drop-Off event is Saturday, May 9th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. RFK Lot 8. Safe disposal of hazardous waste and unwanted electronic equipment to prevent the release of dangerous and toxic substances into the environment. Last but not least, if you want to learn more about this year's budget and the budget and overall, you can find more information at budget.dc.gov. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Quentin. You have some comments in the chat, admiration and appreciation. And then Ms. Lynch wants to know, is Wendy Glenn retiring? I will let you answer that question if you want to answer that question. And then Commissioner Donohue, I think you have a question, and if anyone else, be real quick with it, but Quentin.
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. The only thing I'm going to say is I miss Inspector Briscoe. We have a ton of trash all through Fairlawn. I've messaged with Miss Bailey. She talked about some sort of a schedule that I never really knew that we were on. I always just called Miss Briscoe, and she, she took care of it. We really need a sweep to go through the Fairlawn community. There's trash everywhere.
Okay, Tom, can you put those 311s and send them to me? Because the sooner you can get those in and send them to me, I will escalate those with our new inspector.
How do I put like if it's just the whole street that needs to be swept?
You can just call 311 or do it over the app and just let them know that blocks needs a street sweeping. Because this is street month right now. We're in street sweeping month until October. Started in March.
Okay.
Yeah. So you put it in, you send it to me. I'm sorry.
Did Miss Briscoe go somewhere? Did she retire?
Not sure. I think she might be taking her leave. Because I
she's down on leave.
Oh, she's on leave. I'm about to say, I know she ain't.
Yeah, because
I think there's some health.
Like she's out right now, but I don't think she retired. But I'll definitely have an update next month for you guys from DPW for sure. On Inspector Briscoe. Let me write that down now, so I can.
Okay. And if you want to answer the question about, Miss Glenn, you can. Or you can
Man, if we all know Miss Glenn, I don't think Miss Glenn old enough to retire. Yeah. But no, I think she's just retiring from the mayor's office, executive office of the mayor.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I did last thing. I'm sorry, Commissioner Moore. Those issues that as soon as possible. So
you froze. I'm sorry, I did not hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Is it still freezing up? I'm still froze?
You good.
Okay. I was saying that those issues that you're having with DGS and DPR, I can escalate those like as soon as possible. I can get the deputy director to get on top of it from DPR and the director from DGS. We can figure out, all the answers to your questions. I can get those for you. So please send me an email.
I sure will, Quentin. Thank you.
And I could, yeah.
Commissioner Moore, can I add to your email? Because I was at Ketchum on Friday working out, and they basically told us they were closing 30 minutes before their advertising to close because they needed to clean. And I was like going back and forth with the workers, but I said, I'm not going to, go back and forth because somebody gave you that directive. So I was like really upset that they were like closing 30 minutes early.
Yeah, add that in. I got y'all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. I guess Commissioner Donohue was right. We were texting. He was like, we're going to get out at 10. And I said, no, we're not. And we are getting out now. Thank you, everyone. We always know that our April meeting is longer. We have a couple of votes on the docket tonight. We're only going to be voting on 2 resolutions.
We hear from Sheila yet?
Oh, shit.
Jamila.
I told you the after 10 o'clock.
I've been on this meeting for 3 hours. Really?
It's interesting.
Girl.
Go ahead.
My gosh. I'm gonna be real quick, just so I won't hold you guys up. I think the most important thing I want to share is that budget oversight hearings are coming to a close as of next Tuesday. So your last and final chance to say whatever you need to say about the FY27 budget is May 13th. The Committee of the Whole will have one final budget hearing to talk about anything and everything dealing with the FY27 budget. So I encourage particularly Commissioner Moore, if there are any, to share your issues and concerns at that budget oversight hearing about Anacostia Rec at Ketchum. But I would also suggest that the ANC write a letter to Councilmember Janice Lewis George. She is the chair of facilities. So that is her direct oversight. So encouraging you all to send a letter, write an email to her, letting her know about those concerns. Today, we had a legislative meeting at the council, and I would say the two biggest things for us anyway that took place. In case you did not hear, Councilmember Brooke Pinto pulled the emergency surrounding the curfew. However, the council did vote to pass the permanent legislation on the implementation of a curfew for our young people that would start at 8 p.m. But that implementation will not start until the latter part of the summer, early fall. And in that legislation, an amendment was passed, well, two amendments were passed. One would sunset the use of curfews at the end of 2028. And then the second provision would say that instead of shipping our young people to a police precinct if they are found to be out during the curfew, that they would be taken to the either the non-secure side of DYRS or taken to CFSA so that our young people are not put in a restrictive setting, but put into the care of individuals that can connect them with their families. And then secondly, the council also passed a final piece of help for the residents at Talbot Street, River East at Grandview condominium. So Councilmember Robert White introduced legislation that would basically provide monetary relief to those 46 homeowners in the sense of if for those who already had HPAP loans for their properties, those will be turned into grants so that they would not have to pay that back because the HPAP is just a loan. So instead of that, those HPAP loans will be turned into grants so they would not have to pay those back for those that already have HPAP. And for those who use conventional mortgaging to purchase their properties, they would have the opportunity to receive grant assistance at what as well to lessen their financial burden. So I think that that was a big win for those 46 homeowners in Anacostia. And I think lastly, I want to share just again, budget oversight, May 13th is your last opportunity. And then starting May 19th, the council committees start their mock-ups. So each council committee will look at their piece of the budget, move around money, and report out to the entire council what they plan or how they change the mayor's budget. So please, please, please pay attention to those things. Again, last opportunity to testify is May 13th, but you still have time to continue your advocacy with the council as committees begin to mark up their piece of the budget. And then finally with Council Chair Phil Mendelson, because it all goes to him in the end and he does some things depending on what council priorities are. So just want to share that information. And if there are any questions, I'm here, but I understand it's late, but I'll drop my contact info in the chat if you want to reach out outside of tonight's meeting. Thank you, Chair White.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. There was a question in the chat from you from retired Commissioner Fuller about demolition and talks about what happens next at Talbot Street, because I'm sure, you know, nobody wants to see a repeat of that.
Yeah, so that is a question that Councilmember White asked today at the legislative meeting. So I don't have an answer for you, but it is on our radar, and we'll look into that, and we'll try to report back at your next meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll we would love to get the council member to be a main speaker, you know, sometime this summer. So that would be great because there's been a lot of support for the EA.
Yeah, if you let me know what date you're looking at, send that to me ASAP. We can get that on the calendar.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you again for introducing the moratorium for 8A. And I'm sure we'll be setting some more priorities. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I forgot to mention that, but yes, thank you for that. We're happy to work in collaboration with you on that.
Is there anything that we can do as commissioners to help support that? Like committee meetings or any like what?
The moratorium?
Yeah.
Let me circle back with you. I have to see what committee it was referred to, and then the council members talking to that member to make sure that we can get it out of committee. So once I have a better idea, I'll circle back with you guys and let you know.
Yeah, we'll all mobilize. So thank you. Okay, we have a couple of votes tonight. So we are voting on our meeting minutes. Commissioner Foreman wasn't able to do the quarterly report yet because he just hasn't gotten access to all the bank statements yet. Industrial Bank hasn't sent all statements yet. So we'll vote on that in May, which is fine because it's still within the voting period. Commissioner Donohue, can you do your resolutions? And then we'll do the minutes, and then we will adjourn and see everyone in June. Hopefully in June we'll be hybrid. We can't meet at the old location anymore, DCHD or the Department of Health. We have to find a new location. So that's a whole another conversation. And we'll look for a location so we can go hybrid. But Donohue, over you. You're mute.
Shit. Okay. Can you see the screen? Okay, great. So I have two resolutions. I'll go through quickly. This is, I think, this may have been our eldest resident in the Fairlawn community. I don't know for sure, but it's definitely up there. Miss Mother Lillian Atkins-Brown. I'm not going to read it for time purposes. I know that I supplied it to all the commissioners. Basically, Miss Brown has been in the Fairlawn community for quite some time. She was born February 12th, 1931, in Emporia, Virginia, and brought her talents to DC, where she dedicated over 30 years to federal service, advancing from computer technician to supervisor of the payroll department, the division for Department of Health and Human Services. She was a longtime member of St. John CME Church, where her soprano voice lifted the spirits of the congregation for quite some time. She, on the 9th of August 12th, 2025, and then again on March 3rd, Miss Lillian faced fires in the adjacent townhomes. We had squatters. So she had just literally returned to her unit from the first fire being fixed, her apartment, her townhome being fixed. And when the second fire happened, so she had only got to live in her house for a couple of weeks. And unfortunately, she passed away a month after the second fire. So we are moving this honorary resolution. I'm requesting us to move this honorary resolution forward. I just note that the family was unable to attend our meeting tonight, but they had asked me to share the note on behalf of the family. So I put that, and you can see a photo of Miss Lillian Brown as well. She was a spicy woman that I had the opportunity to get to know really well. 4 hours in an ambulance, in the back of an ambulance on the night of the fire. And Quentin, I know Quentin was with me as well. Spicy, wonderful woman. I was very sad to hear. But if we could move this resolution forward and etch her name into the permanent record of DC, that would be greatly appreciated. Should I just go to the next one, or are we going to vote?
No, I just want to see if we have any discussion on this before we go to the next one.
Okay.
This one was properly noticed.
Okay. But maybe do we want to hear from the family? Do we want them to be present, or it's not necessary?
For me, I don't think it's necessary to vote on a resolution for them. I think if we wanted to honor her more, we could. And we've talked about doing that in the past with another longtime Fair Lawn resident and just didn't do it. So. Well, do you all want to vote now since there's no more discussion on this one, and then we'll go to the next one? Okay.
This one was properly noticed, you said?
Yeah, it was. Tom, if you want to move the resolution.
So I move to honor Miss Mother Lillian Atkins-Brown, who lived on 19th Street. This honorary resolution. Is that good?
I move a motion. You have to say I move a motion because when I do the notes, it doesn't pick it up as a motion.
I move this motion for an honorary resolution honoring Mother Lillian Atkins-Brown as laid forth in the resolution I've presented to the commission.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Commissioner Davis seconds. Any more discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye.
I abstain.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis, please your vote.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Aye. That motion passes 4 votes and 1 abstention. Okay, Donohue, next one.
The next one is this week is this is a resolution for recognition of Teacher Appreciation Week. Last week was there was Principal Appreciation Day. The schools are celebrating our teachers in Boone, Kramer, Anacostia High School, Ketchum, Moton Elementary School, and the Thurgood Marshall Academy, Cedar Tree Academy, Academy of Hope Adult PCS are all celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week, and I thought it was appropriate for us to acknowledge that, and I move this resolution forward. I will take a copy of it to Boone and Kramer. If the others want to, represent their school, they're certainly welcome to do so as well.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner. And this is all the schools in AA, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I know this one, we have voted to add this because it wasn't on the notice that had went out in advance. Do we have any discussion? Okay, can go ahead and move the motion, Commissioner Donohue, again.
I move a motion for the proposed resolution recognizing our teachers of all of our schools in 8A for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Thank you so much. Any additional discussion? Sorry, second. Can I get someone to second it? So we can move it to discussion. Commissioner Moore, can you second it?
I'm not voting on it.
You're abstaining. What about Davis?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, you can move it to second and still abstain.
I'm not seconding it. No, thank you.
Okay. What about Foreman?
No.
Are we really not going to pass a motion for a Teacher Appreciation Week? Let the community know that. That's ridiculous, people.
It's not about the teachers, it's about the noticing.
So, okay, well, we can also, Commissioner Donohue, we can always pass a resolution to honor our teachers as well, so we can bring it back. Even when we have that special meeting.
Want to just point this out that we're going to turn this down.
Okay, no, we'll put in notes. It didn't pass motion, but I think we should bring it back before the end of the school.
That's shameful, guys. That's terrible. Terrible.
Yes. Okay, but thank you so much. Donohue, let me know if I need to sign the motion for Ms. Lillian Brown. So you can, and maybe we can get it printed out or something else.
And just for the record, Ms. Lynch, these are all of the schools for 8A were included.
Oh. Yeah. All right, everyone. So the time is 10:15. Thank you all for hanging around so much. Thank you for being so active. A lot going on in 8A. Like we said, we're going to have another special meeting just to talk about these two developments that are coming up. And then we'll see you all on the second Tuesday in June. We most likely may be virtual unless we can find a space, but we're looking for a space that can accommodate. So the first Tuesday in June is June 2nd. So I move that we
can add this vote to that special meeting.
Okay, we can add this vote to that special meeting too.
And then it'll be noticed.
I agree.
And then it'd be really nice if we could do something for them, but I'm not sure if we're allowed to. Maybe Commissioner Donohue could do that. But I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. The next meeting is June 2nd. The time is 10:16. Any objections?
The vote or the logo? You said a logo?
Yes. Did everyone vote on did every commissioner have a chance to look at the logo?
No,
And
I'll
vote?
go. I haven't voted, but I can go.
Okay, let me just ask for the sake of time, do you all want to do a quick vote tonight or just bring this back in June? Whether we get a logo tonight or a logo in June?
June.
All right, table that to June. All right, thank you so much, Commissioner Davis, for reminding me. Okay, all in favor of ending tonight's meeting, say aye.
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 All right, tonight's meeting is adjourned at 10:17. Thank you, everyone. June 2nd, we will see you all again, probably virtually.
Right.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, commissioners. Have a great night ahead.
All right.
All right, everyone.